cultivation world, I begin by getting struck by lightning. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 926 Grasshoppers are also meat, better than nothing. Just when Su Fan was feeling depressed, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist began to vibrate slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and found that it was a message from Kinyu. Devours, I have good news for you. Your family has safely arrived at the Goen realm and has been arranged to enter the local sect. After hearing what Kinyu said, Su Fan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Although Ruai Pavilion is a black shop, it is good in this respect. It is really reliable. Hearing that his family has been placed in the local sect, Su Fan felt that 50,000 spiritual jades were not so expensive. Well, thank you. Is there any news about the Wuideo recently? It's strange to say that the Wuideo seems to have disappeared recently, and even the monks who came from outside the domain to support the Jiaxu realm seem to have no movement. Seeing the message sent by Kinyu, Su Fan couldn't help but frown. It is definitely impossible for the Wuideo to stop hunting him. Even if they choose to stop, Su Fan will not do it. You planned such a big killing game to kill him, but now you don't want to play anymore. What are you thinking? Since Wuideo has chosen to start, it is up to him to decide when to end. I will never give up until he is killed and bloodshed is over. Thank you for your hard work, fellow Taoist. If you have any information about Wuideo, please contact me immediately. Don't worry, fellow Taoist, I have arranged someone to check. Su Fan chatted with Kinyu for a few more words before putting away the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion. He thought for a while, then took out a bunch of stored rings and put them on the table. These are the stored rings that Su Fan seized from the hands of those Shinrin cultivators. Sister Zhen spent several months to slowly sort them out. As the saying goes, killing an arson will bring you a golden belt. Now he is heavily in debt, and he thought he could make up for some of it from the seizures of these Shinrin cultivators. Who knew that after Sister Zhen sorted out the spoils, he was very disappointed. The wealth of the more than 1,000 Celestial Clan cultivators in the valley this time was incomparable to that of their fellows in the Falling Stars Heaven ruins. It is said that the Celestial Clan has a very strict hierarchy within the clan. The Celestial Clan cultivators who came to Worry-Free Heaven to build the altar this time were all ordinary cultivators in the clan. After all, it was a tough job to come all the way to Worry-Free Heaven to build the altar. And they had to face the big devil Su Fan, so some high-ranking families would not send their children to come. So except for the rings of dozens of old monsters in the refining void realm, there were no surprises in the rings of others, and some were even very shabby. Su Fan roughly estimated that all the spoils added together could only make up 2,000 spiritual jades. Okay, grasshoppers are also meat, better than nothing. At this time, Sister Zhen floated over from a distance. She came behind Su Fan, hugged his neck, and put her little face on his face. Master, the meal is ready. Su Fan patted her little hand, turned his head and kissed the girl lovingly. I'll eat later. Sister Zhen sat in Su Fan's arms and leaned her head on his chest. Master, is your injury better? The injury has stabilized. What are you going to do? Are you okay now? Su Fan has been recovering from his injuries during this period, and the two have not slept in the same bed for a long time. What's okay? Su Fan asked knowingly, making Sister Zhen blush with shame, and she buried her head in his chest. Master, how long have you not loved me? Haha. It's okay now, let's do it tonight. Let me love you well, Master. What are you talking about? After hearing Su Fan's words, Sister Zhen's face was hot, red and almost dripping blood, and she disappeared in a whoosh. Seeing Sister Zhen run away in a panic, Su Fan smiled. Sister died when she was very young. Although she was unwilling to become a fierce ghost, she still adhered to the most traditional concepts. After Su Fan had breakfast, he left the portable secret realm. His figure appeared in a small courtyard, and then he pushed open the door and walked out. Good morning, Senior. Are you going to set up a stall? I'll go and patronize you later, fellow Taoist Song Hao. You got up early today. Good morning, Master Song Fu. Do you still have the Zhuan Tenfu, old song? Are you going to set up a stall? Let's go together. He saw Su Fan coming out, and the neighbors nearby were all greeting him enthusiastically. This is a very inconspicuous small market in the Burial Monster Mountain Range. In fact, it is a gathering place for casual cultivators, called Liushifang. Small markets like Liushifang are almost everywhere in the Burial Monster Mountain Range. There are at least 8,000 of them. Liushifang is not big. It was established by a casual cultivator in the Jiandan realm and belongs to the sphere of influence of the Chishu League. The market has only a main street of several hundred meters, which gathers thousands of low-level casual cultivators from thousands of miles around. Su Fan came to a place on the street, took out a piece of animal skin from his ring and spread it on the ground, then took out dozens of talismans and neatly stacked them on the animal skin. He took out another stool, sat on it, and then took out a book and read it with great interest. Su Fan's current identity is a foundation-building cultivator named Song Hao, and his profession is a talisman master. Because the talismans on his stall are of the best quality, he is also well known in the Liushifang. At this time, the stalls on the open space on both sides of the street are almost full, and there are more pedestrians on the street. Although the upper echelons of each settlement will also exploit the lower-level independent cultivators, compared with other areas of Wu'ai Ocean, the independent cultivators in the Burial Demon Mountains have a much better life. Su Fan only comes out to set up a stall a few times a month, so as soon as he sets up the stall is surrounded by people. The price of the talismans he sells is not low, at least 10% or 20% more expensive than other talisman masters in the market. But his talismans are of very good quality, so his business has always been good, and he can easily earn hundreds of spirit stones every month. While Su Fan was setting up a stall to sell talismans, his ears were not idle, and his divine thoughts almost covered the entire market. The scattered stalls in Liushifang, as well as the shops and restaurants on both sides of the street, and even the every move of the Jiandan realm cultivator sitting in the market, are all in sight. Don't underestimate the low-level casual cultivators in this small market. Many people often wander around the surrounding markets, and occasionally go to the larger villages to hang out. Therefore, what happened in the Burial Monster Mountain Range, or even the entire worry-free heaven, can be spread here very quickly. Most of these low-level casual cultivators have no hope of breaking through. In addition to maintaining their own cultivation on weekdays, they have a lot of time to get bored and gather together to chat. Although it is impossible to hear any secret things from them, some major events that happened in the Burial Monster Mountain Range and even worry-free heaven can be spread here very quickly. Chapter 927. After all, I spent money, but the effect is different. Su Fan was busy until noon, with almost no time to rest. The casual cultivators at other stalls nearby all cast their eyes on him, with envy in their eyes. Of course, there were also many greedy eyes, but it was a pity that Su Fan almost never left the market. It also prevented many casual cultivators with malicious intentions from finding a chance to rob him. Every time Su Fan came out to set up a stall, he could attract many female cultivators. In the eyes of those girls, he was definitely the best candidate for a Taoist partner. If he followed a talisman master in the foundation building period, he could live a comfortable life even as a concubine. But Su Fan had seen all kinds of women, so how could he look down on these rouge and vulgar powder? So he always rejected many girls' confessions with hard work. But even so, he couldn't resist the enthusiasm of those female cultivators, and every time he came out to set up a stall, he would receive gifts from many female cultivators. Su Fan could only smile bitterly in his heart at the envy and jealousy of others. The little spiritual stones he earned from setting up a stall in the market every month were simply not worth mentioning in his eyes. Even if Su Fan set up a stall on the street of Liushifang to sell talismans for several years, he still couldn't collect enough money for a spiritual jade. But there was no other way. He had to find a way to make a living while living in seclusion in Liushifang, otherwise it would be easy to arouse suspicion. He didn't pack up his stall and leave until afternoon, and then found a restaurant to have a meal. Su Fan sat in the lobby of the restaurant, eating while letting go of his mind and eavesdropping on the conversations of the casual cultivators in the market. Many of the topics the casual cultivators talked about were related to him, but they were all old topics, and there were almost no new topics. Until he finished his meal, he didn't hear any useful news for him. Just when Su Fan wanted to get up and leave, he sat down again, and he finally heard some useful news. Fellow Taoist Xuanfeng, what exactly does the leader mean today? What else can he mean? This time, the Wu'ai Dao has overstepped its bounds, so he doesn't want to get involved. That's true. Not only are Chishu Alliance, But the other major loose cultivator alliances should also have the same idea. Ignore them. Tell the people below that if the people from the Wuideo show up, just pretend you didn't see them. Why did the people from the Wuideo provoke the big devil? I heard that it was that big devil who killed the descendants of Lin Xianzhen's bloodline, which led to the subsequent events. Who would have thought it would turn out like this? Haha. I heard that the people of the Wuideo have been in a panic for the past few months, and even those peripheral gangs have been hiding tightly, fearing that they would be killed by that big devil. That fellow Taoist Zuanfeng is the giant and cultivator in charge of this market. The other few people are also the cultivators in charge of several small markets nearby. They all received notices from the alliance's top leaders, so they gathered together to discuss countermeasures. Su Fan knew that after being silent for so long, the Wuideo was now active again. Since even the garrison cultivators in these small market towns had received notifications from the high-level officials of the Loose Cultivator Alliance, it was estimated that the information from the Huangquan Tower and the Ruai Pavilion should have arrived. As expected, as soon as Su Fan got up to pay the bill and left the restaurant, the jade talisman on his waist began to vibrate slightly. He returned to his residence in the market town and entered the portable secret realm. He then took off the jade talisman from his waist and found that it was a message from Zuming of the Huangquan Tower. Zigu, I just received news that the Wuideo has become active again. According to reliable information, support from the outside world has infiltrated Wu Ocean. After seeing the message from Zuming, Su Fan smiled and replied with a message. Do you have any more specific information? That's not the case. The secret lines we have arranged inside the Wuideo are trying every means to find out the news. Su Fan glanced at the message and couldn't help but curl his lips. The secret agents that Huangquan Tower had arranged in Wuideo probably didn't have a high status, maybe they were just peripheral members. He had just put away the jade talisman of Huangquan Tower when Qin Yu from Ruai Pavilion sent a message. Devours, I just received intelligence that Wuideo asked for help from the headquarters, and their law enforcement hall sent an elite team. For some reason, they found several other elite teams from the headquarters law enforcement hall. It must be said that after all, the effect is different after spending money. Although Ruai Pavilion is a black shop, Huangquan Tower can't catch up in terms of intelligence collection ability. Thank you for your hard work. Continue to help me find out the information about Wuideo. Devours, rest assured, our Ruai Pavilion has specially activated a hidden player hidden inside Wuideo for your matter. If there's new information, I will contact you immediately. Damn, it seems that the price of this information must be high. However, the information at this time can no longer be measured by money, it is related to his own safety. Even if he has to sell everything, he has to find out the information of Wuideo. Su Fan and Qin Yu chatted for a few more words, and he put away the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion. As for the movement of Wuideo, he guessed that it was because he had just destroyed the altar of the Xianren clan and killed dozens of old monsters in the Liangsu realm. This made Wuideo reevaluate the threat to him. Don't worry about them, stay in Liashifan quietly now, and wait until your body is fully recovered. In the past few months of recovering from his injuries, Su Fan has not given up the fourth round of tempering of blood and ki. Now, the trace of blood and ki of the great demon in the fusion realm outside the Zunayu in his body, as well as the blood and essence of the old ancestor of the Deadwood, have been tempered for the most part. When his injuries are fully recovered, the fourth round of tempering of blood and ki will be almost done, and by then Su Fan's strength will increase several times again. Thinking of this, Su Fan came out of the portable secret realm and entered the Juan secret realm again. This secret realm is said to come from the netherworld. The environment inside is extremely cold and gloomy. And the area is thousands of miles in radius. It is full of various ghosts, zombies and skeletons. It is simply a paradise for the cultivators of the demon sect, the zombie sect, the bone sect and the shadow sect. Now this Juan secret realm is 100 times stronger than his previous one. The area of the secret realm alone is many times larger. A netherworld secret realm of this scale is hard to come by even in the entire world of cultivation. It can be said to be very, very rare. Compared with the Juan secret realm that he had put together before, it is definitely a world apart. As soon as Su Fan appeared in the Juan secret realm, he immediately felt a chilling breath coming towards him. At this time, a cloud of thick black smoke floated over from a distance, and then turned into the figure of Yaksha, kneeling in front of him. Yaksha, meet my lord. Chapter 928 Brother, that's good. Su Fan waved his hand and said, "Get up, where's Wangda? The senior is inside, please follow me." Su Fan followed Yaksha all the way to the depths of the Juan's secret realm, and he walked into a huge cave. As soon as he stepped into the cave, he immediately felt a chill that drilled in through the gaps in his bones. Even though Su Fan's body was strong and he had broken through the realm of transformation, he still felt as if he had fallen into a 10,000-year-old ice cave. This is a space in the netherworld. Apart from anything else, the yin energy in the secret realm alone is extremely extraordinary. This environment is a natural feng shui treasure land for the monks of the Ghost Path, Zombie Island, and White Bone Path of the Demon Sect. On a huge stone platform in the middle of the cave, there were more than a dozen black coffins more than 10 feet long. "Boy, how did you get here?" Su Fan turned his head, glanced at the oil lamp magic weapon on the stone platform, and then pointed to the black coffins on the stone platform. "These are the zombies you have recently refined." The evil Buddha Wangda heard a hint of disapproval from Su Fan's words, and he was immediately unhappy. "Little fork, release a zombie and let your master take a look." After hearing this, Yaksha turned his head and glanced at Su Fan. This guy still knew the difference between the big and small kings. It was not until it saw Su Fan nodded that it took out a soul-catching bell from its ring and gently shook it towards the black coffin. Ring, ring, as a crisp but eerie bell sounded, Su Fan felt a strong breath spreading. Then he saw a huge zombie several feet tall suddenly standing up from a black coffin. The huge body of this zombie, as black as ink, was extremely majestic, with an extremely hideous face, and 2 sharp fangs protruding from its lips. The 10 black fingers on both hands, the long nails were as sharp as hooks, and glowed with a dark glow. Su Fan couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. He could clearly feel the breath of a cultivator in the void refining realm from this sturdy zombie. In addition, the zombie's body was extremely strong. If an ordinary cultivator in the void refining realm encountered it, it would be really troublesome. "Boy, how about this zombie? This is too good." A zombie of this strength can definitely be a good helper for him. However, what surprised Su Fan was that the zombies made from the corpses of ordinary cultivators would have a much lower realm. But this hideous and terrifying zombie in front of him actually had the strength of a cultivator in the void refining realm. "Senior, this zombie," the evil Buddha Wangda guessed what Su Fan wanted to ask, so he began to show off. "Back then, I accidentally got a legacy of the demon sect's zombie Taoism. Unfortunately, this Taoism is a fragment. It is said that the Taoism was passed down from the outside world. The realm of the more than 10 zombies I helped you refine has not dropped much." After he finished speaking, he looked at the zombie again and shook his head. "It's a pity that you have too few corpses of void refining realm monks here. If you gather 36 void refining realm zombies, you can set up the 10 absolute 9 evils blood cauldron demon corpse array, which can easily kill several void refining realm monks. Even if you encounter an old guy who is half a step into the body, you can still trap him." After hearing what the evil Buddha Wangda said, Su Fan immediately became energetic. According to the old guy, this 10 absolute 9 evils blood cauldron demon corpse array seems to be very powerful. Unfortunately, there are not enough corpses, so don't think about this array for the time being. In fact, Su Fan has a lot of corpses of void refining realm monks, but they have all been used to pay off the debts of the woman upper realm boss. There is no way. Now Su Fan is only a god transformation realm monk. If he wants to defeat those old monsters in the void refining realm, he can only rely on the help of the woman upper realm boss. This is not urgent. When he recovers from his injuries, he will go to the Black Clothes Dao for revenge. At that time, there will be no shortage of corpses of void refining realm monks. The evil Buddha Wangda glanced at Su Fan and laughed. Although there are not many corpses of cultivators in the refining void realm, there are quite a few yin spirits. I have already refined a batch of top-grade evil spirits of the refining void realm for you, but their strength is average, and it is difficult to use them to deal with cultivators in the transformation spirit realm. Brother, this is good. Su Fan did not expect these zombies and evil spirits to be good at all, as long as they can be qualified cannon fodder. Thank you for your hard work, senior. Tomorrow I will ask Sister Jen to send you a few more beautiful little ghost cultivators. After hearing Su Fan's words, the eyes of the evil Buddha Wangda suddenly lit up. Well, you decide. This old pervert, with only a wisp of residual soul left, is still so lustful. Senior, can you let me see the fragment of your demon sex Taoist tradition? Evil Buddha Wangda snorted coldly and said, I have passed the fragment of the demon sex Taoist tradition to Xiao Chezi. That's fine, since it was passed to Yaksha, it's the same as passing it to him. Thank you, Senior. Yaksha will be handed over to you in the future. Xiao Chezi's ghost aptitude is okay, at least 100 times stronger than that little girl. I will take the time to help him sort out his skills. Su Fan was immediately excited after hearing this. It was a blessing for Yaksha to have this old guy to teach him in several lifetimes. Evil Buddha Wangda was not simple. He was an evil old demon in the fusion realm back then. Even if he gave a few pointers, it would be enough for Yaksha to benefit from it. He waved his hand at the Yaksha next to him and said, Why are you still standing there? Come over and thank the senior for his kindness. Yaksha knelt down quickly and kowtowed several times. Thank you, ancestor, for giving me a new life. It must be said that Yaksha is good at talking. The word ancestor made the wrinkles on the face of the evil cultivator Wangda laugh. Get up, I am not an ancestor. Although he said so, he felt very happy in his heart. The ancestor is not a casual name. Yaksha is very smart. He knows his master too well. As long as there is benefit to be gained, Su Fan doesn't care about these trivial things at all. He doesn't care even if he calls him great-grandfather. By the way, I see that you have accumulated a lot of skeletons of high-level cultivators. These days, let Xiaochazi help me to collect all the skeletons and refine a batch of skeleton kings. You are too polite. How can I be so embarrassed? Thank you for your hard work, Senior. From now on, I will hand over this Juain secret realm to you. You can do whatever you want. Su Fan knew that this old bitch liked the environment here in the Juain secret realm, so he sold it to him. Anyway, the secret realm is his, and Yaksha is still his ghost slave. If Laodeng is willing to live here, let him live here. There was no way before. He had a treasure mountain but could not enter. Although Su Fan also has several complete sets of magic sects, he is busy with trivial things every day, so how can he have time to study and figure out those things? Even if he has time, he will definitely study the classics on the formation first. After all, his foundation in the formation is better. At least his master has helped him to consolidate the foundation of the formation, and he has the guidance of his junior sister Chen Qing, who is comparable to the genius of the formation. So although his talent in the formation is average, he has the help of the bug of the game panel, and his attainments in the formation will not be too bad in the future. Yaksha is quite talented in the ghost way, and he practices very hard, but this guy has no guidance from the masters, and he relies on his own guessing. It is likely that he will not have any future. Now, with the teaching and guidance of the evil Buddha Wangda, Yaksha's future is definitely limitless. Chapter 929, Incense Road. Hearing that he could stay in the secret realm all year round, the evil Buddha Wangda was very excited. Even if he was just a remnant soul, he liked to stay in such a place with strong yin energy. What cultivators care about most are wealth, companions, dharma, and land. This secret realm of gathering yin comes from the netherworld, and it is the place with the strongest yin energy even in the entire world of cultivation. If he stays here for a few hundred years, maybe his remnant soul can be completed. Your opportunity is incredible. You can even get this kind of space fragments in the netherworld, but you have to hide this kind of thing well. If others know about it, even the old demon and Z from the upper world can come down and snatch it from you. Su Fan chatted with the evil Buddha Wangda for a few more words, and asked Sister Zhen to bring a few pretty little ghost slaves to deliver the oil lamp magic weapon. Now this old man has nothing to pursue. After all, he is a Buddhist. Even if he wants to cultivate again in the next life, he has to return to the Buddhist realm. The Buddhist sect in this world of cultivation is so overbearing. Although Su Fan has broken through the realm of transformation, he must break through to the realm of refining emptiness when he goes to the Buddhist realm in the upper world. It will take at least 1,800 years for Su Fan to break through the realm of refining emptiness. In such a long time, what else can the evil Buddha Wangda do except have sex with those little ghost slaves every day? Next, Su Fan, led by Yaksha, wandered around the Juain secret realm. This Juain secret realm has always been managed by Yaksha. Su Fan has hardly been here. This is his first time to wander around the secret realm. Yaksha is indeed very reliable and manages this secret realm in an orderly manner. Now the scale of Su Fan's ghost army is not small. There are thousands of evil spirits above the nascent soul realm alone. In addition to the large number of high-level zombies and skeleton kings above the nascent soul realm of the human race and the demon race, this scale of ghost army is more than enough to destroy a medium-sized sector family. After some time, the evil Buddha Wangdo will refine the yin spirits of those cultivators in the refining void realm into the best evil spirits, and the strength of his ghost army will be greatly enhanced. Unfortunately, Su Fan did not seek this. The purpose of cultivating the army of ghosts and ghosts was actually to use them as cannon fodder. Moreover, his opponents in these years were at least cultivators in the transformation realm. The army of ghosts and ghosts in his hands had no place to use their skills. Su Fan wandered around in the Juan secret realm for a full hour before he was ready to leave. Before leaving, he turned his head and looked at Yaksha, and could clearly sense that it was not far from breaking through the Ghost Emperor. "Yaksha, you are about to break through." After hearing what Su Fan said, Yaksha nodded. Although it didn't say anything, it could also feel that this guy could no longer suppress the joy in his heart. "Before the breakthrough opportunity comes, you should start preparing for the breakthrough. I will prepare the cultivation resources you need for the breakthrough. You should learn more from Wangda during this period. The old man will teach you a few words and you will benefit a lot." Yaksha knelt down in front of Su Fan with a thump and kowtowed several times. "Master, I will never forget your kindness." Yaksha is a ghost cultivator. Theoretically, he has an endless lifespan, so the speed of ghost cultivation is also extremely slow. Even though this guy is about to break through, it will take dozens or hundreds of years for the opportunity to break through to appear. "Okay, you get up. I should go too." Su Fan left the Juan secret realm after he finished speaking. He stood in the yard and frowned and thought for a while. Yaksha is about to break through, but what about that dead girl Zhenji? Zhenji was able to break through the Ghost King because he fed her hard back then, but if a ghost cultivator wants to break through the Ghost Emperor realm, it will all depend on her. He was so worried about this that his head hurt. After all, the girl has promised herself to me, and we can't let her stay at the Ghost King realm for the rest of her life. Thinking of this, he took off the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist and sent a message to Qin Yu. "Is there any information about the Wuyu Dao recently? Dao Arao, we are trying our best to collect information about the Wuyu Dao. Please wait patiently for a few days." "Well, okay, I'm not in a hurry. By the way, I want to consult you about something, Dao Arao. Please tell me. I have a ghost slave who has been following me since the key refining period." Later, she switched to the Ghost Dao, but her aptitude was poor and she has been stagnant at the Ghost King realm. "Is there any other way to break through, Dao Arao?" "Wait a moment, I'll help you." After a while, Qin Yu sent a message. "Dao Arao, based on the situation of your ghost slave, I consulted several Ghost Dao seniors, and there is still a way." After reading the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan immediately became energetic. "What method, Taoist friend? Have you heard of the Incense Dao?" Incense Dao. In the previous life, many folk lewd temples practiced the Incense Dao. I didn't expect that I would travel to this world of cultivation and find this kind of Taoism. I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. Some worlds have been at war for many years, and the spiritual resources of many planes have been destroyed. The cultivators have lost their way to immortality. So some cultivators created the Incense Dao in order to continue their own path. Su Fan understood the message sent by Qin Yu. It was similar to the blue star in his previous life. In the last days of the Dharma, the cultivators stopped practicing, so they figured out this thing. Although Su Fan understood what the Incense Dao was, he certainly couldn't mention his past life, so he sent a message. "What is the inheritance of the incense and fire way? Is this method feasible?" In other words, there are many children of high-level families with poor qualifications who will turn to the incense and fire way. Although their strength is weaker, they can help some of their children break through the spirit transformation realm. Then Qin Yu gave Su Fan some popular science about the incense and fire way. It is not difficult to practice the incense and fire way, but it is quite troublesome to establish an incense and fire system. It is necessary to cultivate a large number of believers and build a large number of temples. However, this is not a difficult task for Su Fan. Anyway, the area of the portable secret realm is so vast, so he can just put some mortals in it. Then he can build a temple and ancestral hall, and then offer the statue of Sister Zhen, so that those mortals can worship it, and then there will be incense and fire. Can you, Ruai Pavilion, get the inheritance of the incense and fire way? I have already contacted them for you. If you need it, I will ask them to arrange it right away. However, there is no inheritance of the incense and fire way in Jiaoxu realm. It will take some time for it to be sent from the outside world. This is fucking. This set of inheritance of the incense and fire way has to be sent from the outside world. I guess the price is definitely not cheap. Okay, for the sake of that girl's Henji, it is worth spending any amount of money. Then please help me, fellow Taoist, order a set of inheritance of the incense and fire way and send it over. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 930. Let's improve our strength first. Su Fan has always been very puzzled by Sister Zhen's progress in cultivation. However, it is almost impossible for a ghost cultivator to make further progress after reaching the Ghost King realm. Most ghost cultivators are stuck at the Ghost General stage. Sister Zhen was able to break through the Ghost King realm because Su Fan spent countless resources to force her out. Now Qin Yu has proposed a different path, which is the incense path, which can still be used to let Sister Zhen give it a try. Anyway, her realm has long been stagnant, so let's give it a try. After leaving the Juan secret realm, Su Fan returned to the courtyard. Just as he was about to enter the portable secret realm, the communication array disc on his waist vibrated slightly. He took off the communication array disc from his waist and found that it was a message from Luo Ziwen. Brother, where have you been? Seeing the message from the sister, Su Fan smiled bitterly. I've been healing in a small market for a few months. You're injured. Are you okay? It's okay. The injury has almost healed. The guys from the celestial race are such bastards. They actually sneaked into Wu Ocean to build an altar, and colluded with the Wu Ideo to obtain a large number of cultivators' corpses, preparing to use blood sacrifice to deal with you. Since the news that the Wu Ideo provided blood sacrifice materials for the celestial race came out, all the cultivators in Wu Ocean were extremely indignant. When I recover from my injuries, I will go to trouble the Wu Ideo. You'd better not go. I heard from my ancestor that the Wu Ideo has found a lot of people from outside the domain. All of them are masters from the Kankyu realm, just to deal with you. Seeing the message sent by the girl, Su Fan couldn't help but frown. Kankyu realm. He didn't know much about the 3,000 worlds outside the domain. Even in the Jiaoxu realm, only cultivators above the refining void realm were qualified to know these things. Even in the Dharma halls of the super large sects and high-ranking families, there are no books on this subject. At most, you can see a few words in some rare ancient books. Did your ancestors say whether there are any masters in the fusion realm among these people who came? Don't worry, it's taboo for masters in the fusion realm to cross the domain to other worlds. The people who come from the Kankyu realm are at most old monsters in the refining void realm. Seeing the message the girl replied, Su Fan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As long as there are no masters in the fusion realm, Su Fan really doesn't take those old monsters in the refining void realm seriously. Then I'm relieved. Don't be careless. Kankyu realm is a medium-sized world, not comparable to our Jiaoxu realm. Judging from the meaning of the girl's message, this Kankyu realm is not simple. Do you know about Kankyu realm? I don't know. I heard from my ancestor that the cultivators there are quite powerful. It seems that Jiaoxu realm is quite backward. It can only be regarded as a low-end world among the 3,000 worlds. The two chatted for a few more words, and Su Fan put away the communication array. He entered the portable secret realm, sat cross-legged by the pond next to the thatched cottage, and then took off the Jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist and sent a message to Qin Yu. Qin Yu. Do you know Kankyu realm? I have heard of it. Why are you asking about this place? After all, the ancestor of Luo Ziwan's family is a big boss in the fusion realm. He must be more concerned about those cultivators who come from other realms. It is estimated that even if the Wu Ideo asks for help from the outside world, it must report to the group of fusion realm old monsters in Jiaoxu realm before those cultivators from Kankyu realm can come from other realms. Although Ruai Pavilion is a place for intelligence, from Qin Yu's message, they have not received any intelligence in this regard. Maybe because Su Fan was only a bronze customer, he was not included in the side of the top management of Ruai Pavilion. How could those old monsters in the fusion realm of Ruai Pavilion pay attention to the affairs of a young cultivator in the spiritual transformation realm like him? Thinking of this, Su Fan inexplicably felt a little disappointed. I just got the information that the helpers that the Wu Yudao found from outside the domain are said to come from the Kangchu Ji. After Su Fan sent this message, it took a long time before Qin Yu replied with a message. Dao, is your information reliable? Of course it is reliable. This is the news from the Fusion Realm boss. It seems that this time Su Fan got the information about the Wu Yudao in advance, which made Ruai Pavilion quite passive. The authenticity of my information should be fine. Dao, wait a moment, I will help you collect information about the Kangchu Ji. Well, thank you for your hard work. Dao, don't worry, for all the information about the Wu Yudao this time, we at Ruai Pavilion will not charge you a commission. That's about right. Anyway, the reputation of Ruai Pavilion is really good. This time he collected the information of Wu Yudao through Ruai Pavilion, which must have consumed a large number of spirit crystals. Although the service of Ruai Pavilion is first class, the price is always high. Especially at this time, they dare to shout out a sky-high price. Unexpectedly, the information Luo Zuwen got from the ancestor could save him a lot of money. It was also a pleasant surprise. Su Fan replied to another message, and then put away the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion. In the afternoon, Qin Yu sent another message. He sent all the information he had collected about Kangqiu Realm all at once. Dao, I have sent you the information of Kangqiu Realm. Give me a few more days, and I will definitely help you collect the latest information of Wu Yudao. It seems that Qin Yu is also anxious. After all, Ruai Pavilion is a place to make a living by intelligence. As a result, the employer found the information first, which made Qin Yu very embarrassed. It's okay, just help me collect it slowly. After Su Fan replied to the message, he began to look at the information Qin Yu had collected for him about the Kangqiu Realm. But after just a while, he put the Jade Talisman away in disappointment. Because the information Qin Yu had collected for him about the Kangqiu Realm was just the same as what he had searched on Baidu. This kind of general information was of no use to him at all. Well, after all, Ruai Pavilion is not omnipotent. Qin Yu's level, the intelligence resources he can get are limited to the scope of Jiaoxu Realm. Thinking of this, Su Fan began to practice Dragon Elephant Swallowing Yuan Training Blood Mysterious Art and began the 4th round of tempering of the blood in his body. In any case, he should improve his strength first. It will take several months for Su Fan's injury to fully recover, and it is just right to take advantage of this time to strive to complete the 4th round of tempering of the blood in his body. It is estimated that by that time, Ruai Pavilion will also be able to collect all the information about Wu Yudao. Chapter 931, Be Content. In the following days, Su Fan stayed in the Liushifang. While healing his wounds, he practiced the Dragon Elephant Swallowing Yuan Training Blood Mysterious Art to refine the blood in his body for the 4th round. During this period, Qin Yu from the Ruai Pavilion and Zhu Ming from the Huangquan Tower collected a lot of information about the Wu Yudao for him. But the information from the monks of the Kangqiu Realm was never collected. They only appeared a few times when they first came to Wu Ocean, and then disappeared from people's sight. Even the hidden players arranged by the Ruai Pavilion in the Wu Yudao did not find out their information. However, Qin Yu from the Ruai Pavilion collected more information about the Kangqiu Realm for him. Although these materials also came from public channels, they were much more valuable than the first one. Su Fan also learned a lot about the Kangqiu Realm through these materials. Although the Kangqiu Realm is only a middle-class world in the 3000 worlds, compared with the bottom-class world of Jiaosu Realm, the conditions in all aspects are much stronger. The so-called 3000 worlds outside the domain are actually just a saying, and the real number is far more than that. Each world is divided into 3 levels of worlds according to the spiritual resources, cultivation resources, Taoist inheritance, and the foundation and strength of each race. There are many planes in the Kangqiu Realm, and even several superplanes with extremely large areas, but even so, it can only squeeze into the middle-class world. There are many conflicts between the human race, demon race, insect race, monster race, ghost race and other races in this world, and fierce battles between races often occur. Because of the constant fierce battles between the races, the combat effectiveness of the human cultivators in the Kangqiu Realm is very strong. In addition to the above information, there is no other information about the Kangqiu Realm. Starting from the early morning of this day, Su Fan sat cross-legged by the pond next to the thatched cottage, practicing the dragon elephant swallowing yuan training blood mysterious art. Sister Zhen floated over several times and found that he was still practicing, so she floated away quietly every time. These days are the critical stage for Su Fan to temper his blood. He has to practice all day every day, and even tempers his blood day and night. So Sister Zhen never dared to disturb him, fearing that it would affect the master's practice. It was not until the evening that Su Fan slowly opened his eyes. His eyes condensed, and a terrifying brilliance flashed in his eyes, and a strong bloody aura permeated his whole body. But in just a moment, the bloody aura around Su Fan disappeared. He let out a long breath, and a hint of surprise appeared on his face. After several years of intermittent practice of dragon elephant swallowing yuan training blood mysterious art, he finally completed the 4th round of tempering of blood and qi in his body. Su Fan stood up from the ground. He exerted all his strength, and felt that the strength of his body had made great progress again. You know, with his heaven-defying body, even a little improvement is extremely difficult. Unexpectedly, after the 4th round of tempering of blood and qi in his body was completed, the strength of his body actually increased several times. It may be because of this breakthrough to the realm of transformation and swallowing the essence and blood of the evil old demon in the fusion realm, which made his body grow explosively. Not only that, now Su Fan's realm has also been raised to the level of the middle stage of the God transformation realm. However, he was not excited because of the increase in realm, but was a little scared. This cultivation realm is too fast. At this time, Su Fan was afraid, without a trace of excitement. For ordinary cultivators in the God transformation realm, even if they practice smoothly, it will take more than 1,000 years to go from the early stage to the late stage. But for him, it has only been a few years, and he has already reached the middle stage of the God transformation realm. Okay, he is not going to practice hard for the next few hundred years. He practices the Hunhuiki's Henjing every morning, and then does what he should do. It really can't be like this anymore. It's too scary. In addition to the body and realm, Su Fan's soul has also experienced an explosive growth. Now Su Fan's soul strength has increased by at least 1 or 2 times compared to before, which is definitely a heaven-defying growth. The most difficult thing for a cultivator to improve is the soul, and every slight improvement will make the cultivator ecstatic. But this guy is good. It has increased by 1 or 2 times in a whole. If other cultivators knew about this, they would surely cry themselves to death in the toilet. Su Fan completed the 4th round of internal tempering. The reason why all aspects of his body data have increased so much is that he swallowed the blood and qi of the old ancestor of the deadwood. It must be said that the blood and qi of the big man in the fusion realm are indeed extraordinary. Not only did it speed up his tempering of blood and qi, but all aspects of his body data also rose. Although he knew that the big man in the upper realm of the Witch Gate would definitely get more benefits. But if there is no help from others, it would take Su Fan himself decades to completely digest the blood and essence of the old ancestor of the deadwood. I am lucky if I get it, and I am dead if I'll lose it. People should be content and don't dream of things they can't get. Master, dinner is ready. I made your favorite stew lamb spine. At this time, Sister Zhen floated over from a distance. She hugged Su Fan's arm and buried her head in Su Fan's arms. Su Fan touched her hair and said, "You've worked hard these days, Master. You haven't eaten for several days. I'd better bring it to you." Su Fan shook his head and said, "I'm not hungry. I'll eat later, then I'll make you a pot of spiritual tea." Seeing Su Fan nod, Sister Zhen excitedly made him a pot of spiritual tea, then poured him a cup and put it on the table. Su Fan picked up the teacup and was about to take a sip of the spiritual tea when the jade talisman on his waist suddenly vibrated slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and found that it was a message from Qin Yu of Ruai Pavilion. "Dao, I just received intelligence that our people found a base of the Wu Ai Dao and found people suspected to be from the Kankiu realm there." Seeing the message from Qin Yu, Su Fan immediately became alert. He quickly put the teacup on the table, then stood up from the ground and sent a message to Qin Yu. "Where is the base of the Wu Yi Dao? Our people have already infiltrated the Tianfeng Valley, a gathering place for bandit cultivators in the eastern part of the Barademon Mountains, and are monitoring the situation of the Wu Yi Dao day and night." Perhaps Su Fan had obtained the intelligence of the cultivators from the Kangqiu realm in advance, and this time Qin Yu worked very hard, probably using a lot of the organization's resources. "Tell your people to be careful, I'll be there soon." After Su Fan sent a message to Qin Yu, He put away the jade talisman of the Ruai Pavilion and left the secret realm. Chapter 932, No Way for People to Survive. Su Fan left the Liushifang where he had lived in seclusion for more than a year and began to head towards the eastern region of the Barademon Mountains. The locations of bandit cultivators' gathering places like Xianfang Valley are generally very remote and secret. And if you want to go to such a place, you can't even think about teleporting. You can only take a flying boat or drive a magic flying tool to go there. So Su Fan passed through the teleportation array of the gathering place of the Loose Cultivator Alliance and went to several places in succession. Only then did he come to Loose Cultivator's stronghold in the eastern part of the Barademon Mountains. This is the last stronghold in the eastern region of the Barademon Mountains with a teleportation array. For the next long journey, he can only fly non-stop in the vast mountains on a ghost crow. Not long after Su Fan left the Liushifang, the Wuaidao discovered his aura. In order to find his trace, the Wuaidao did not look for any masters of divination, but hired a large number of divination monks who took turns to divine and calculate his aura day and night. Who knew that in order to heal his wounds and practice the dragon elephant swallowing yuan training blood mysterious art to temper his blood and ki for the fourth time, Su Fan stayed in the Liushifang for more than a year. Because of the jade talisman that isolated the ki of the ancestor of the Luoziwen family, a large number of divination monks kept calculating day and night, but they didn't find any trace of his ki. So after those divination monks calculated Su Fan's ki, the Wuaidao was full of joy. It's too difficult to find this kid. But at present, only his ki has been discovered. In order to calculate his exact location, a large number of divination monks need to calculate day and night. As a result, Su Fan was not idle at all after coming out of the Liushifang. He changed several teleportation arrays in succession and came from the western region of the Barademon Mountains to the eastern region in just a few days. Then he drove the ghost crow and dived into the vast mountains of the eastern region. Even the most accomplished divination monks are afraid that the target will keep moving when they are divination, which will greatly disrupt the result of divination. So until Su Fan flew into the mountains of the eastern region with a ghost crow, the black-clothed Dao still did not divine his exact location. Xianfang Valley is located in the southeast of the Barademon Mountains, and is also a place where bandits gather to sell stolen goods. If a monk comes here for the first time, he can't find the place at all without someone to lead him. Originally, this place was an open gathering place for bandits, and anyone could enter as long as someone guaranteed it. Later, because Su Fan retaliated against the black-clothed Dao, the Xianfang Valley is now in a semi-closed state. Now, foreign monks are strictly prohibited from entering the Xianfang Valley, for fear that Su Fan, the big devil, will come to kill them. Not only the Xianfang Valley, all the gathering places of bandits and evil cultivators in the Barademon Mountains are now closed. There is no way. Su Fan, the big devil, is too cruel. Once this guy takes action, he will leave no one alive. Therefore, in the past few years, the gangs in the Barademon mountain range have been in a state of panic, fearing that Su Fan, the great demon, would come to them. At midnight, a full moon hung quietly in the sky, shedding a faint moonlight. The watery moonlight sprinkled on the mountains, and the thick water vapor on the mountain tops was dyed blue by the moonlight, pouring down the hillside like water, and all the mountains were covered with a faint glow. At this time, a ferocious monster with a wingspan of more than 10 feet suddenly appeared from the air. Its huge body. Now the ghost crow is already a 6th level monster, and even Su Fan doesn't know when it broke through. Anyway, it knows that after sleeping for several months, it has become a 6th level monster when it wakes up. The ghost crow passed silently in the night sky, and then found a slightly flat place to land on the ground. Su Fan jumped off its back, rubbed its big head, and put it into his portable secret realm. He turned around and looked at the endless mountains in the distance. If he was not mistaken, that was the Sky Maple Valley. It was just his first time here, so Su Fan could not find the exact location for a while, so he could only search slowly. However, this was not difficult for him. Su Fan slapped the Yinju secret realm on his waist and summoned Yaksha. With a whoosh sound, a group of thick ghost smoke rushed out of the secret realm, and then condensed into a hideous ghost shadow. Yaksha pays homage to my master. Su Fan waved at it and said, "Release some evil spirits and help me find Sky Maple Valley." Yaksha heard the ghost shadow and instantly turned into a group of black smoke, and quickly whistled away. Then, groups of thick ghost smoke spread out from Yaksha's body, turning into evil spirits of the Ghost King realm, spreading across the mountains and forests. Su Fan was suspended in the dark night sky. He focused his eyes and released his consciousness completely, taking in all the movements within a radius of thousands of miles. After a while, Yaksha sent a thought. "Master, I found it." After receiving Yaksha's thought, Su Fan's figure instantly disappeared from the dark night sky. When his figure appeared again, he was already thousands of miles away. Yaksha hurriedly came to meet him. "Master, 100 miles ahead, the breadth of the formation restriction was found." Su Fan nodded and said, "Well, I know." Yaksha hurriedly summoned back the evil spirits scattered in a radius of thousands of miles, and then turned into a ball of thick ghost smoke and drilled into the giant's secret realm. Su Fan's eyes focused, and his appearance and breath began to change, and finally turned into a middle-aged giant and cultivator. He took out a flying magic weapon from the ring, and then drove the magic weapon forward. Arriving in front of a foggy forest 100 miles away, Su Fan took out a jade talisman from his ring and gently drew it in front of the forest. After a while, the foggy forest on the opposite side instantly split into two sides, and several monks flew out from it. The leader, an old man in the nascent soul realm, glanced at him with a sinister look. "Xianfang Valley has been closed, get out of here." Su Fan hurriedly bowed and said, "Junior Luo Tong of the Blood River Hall, pays homage to the true Lord." The Blood River Hall is a famous gang in the Demon Mountain Range, and they also have their own base in the Xianfang Valley. This identity was chosen by Ruai Pavilion for Su Fan. He personally killed the other party, and then used the magic sex blood secret method to change his identity. Although Su Fan is not a cultivator of the demon sex blood sect, he doesn't know how many cultivators' blood he has devoured, and he often uses the witch sex blood array secret method. Moreover, his blood has been tempered 4 times, and he is definitely a top expert in playing with blood. Let alone a nascent soul cultivator, even if an old monster from the refining void realm came, he might not be able to see through his disguise at this moment. Chapter 933, Once provoked, it will be a fight to the death. Su Fan revealed his disguised identity, and the other party's face was indeed relieved. "Bring me your identity jade talisman." Su Fan hurriedly took out a jade talisman from his ring and presented it respectfully with both hands. The old man in the nascent soul realm took the jade talisman and threw it to a cultivator behind him. The other party took out a miniature array plate, drew a jade talisman on it, and then nodded to the old man. The old man in the nascent soul realm returned the jade talisman to Su Fan, then his eyes focused, and he used his spiritual sense to scan him back and forth several times, and then let him follow into the Xianfang Valley. It must be said that the Xianfang Valley is now strictly guarded. Even if it is Su Fan, this monster, if someone else wants to deceive the cultivators of the Xianfang Valley under such a rigorous interrogation, it may not be possible. Su Fan passed through the defense formation of the Xianfang Valley, and his eyes suddenly opened up. In the distance, there was a huge valley surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, which was naturally formed. The long valley area was thousands of acres. The buildings in the valley are very regular, extending all the way to the end of the valley, and the streets are neatly arranged, just like a prosperous town of considerable size. There are also streets winding up the mountains on the surrounding slopes, separating the various buildings densely packed on the mountain in an orderly manner, which looks messy but not chaotic. Su Fan strolled on the streets of Xianfang Valley and felt that it was visibly depressed here, and the shops on both sides were also deserted. The various bandit cultivation gathering places in the Demon Mountain Range are currently very depressed, all thanks to him. It is estimated that those bandit cultivators and evil cultivators hate him to death. Su Fan found a restaurant on the street, asked for a private room, and then ordered several signature spiritual foods from the restaurant. When the wine and food were served, he did not eat first, but took off the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist, and then sent a message. "I'm here." He contacted a downline sent by Qin Yu to Xianfang Valley. The other party did not know that he was Su Fan, and thought he was sent by the upline. After a while, the downline replied, "Where are you?" "I'll find you now." Su Fan told the other party the name of the restaurant, and then patiently waited for the other party to arrive. After a while, someone knocked on the door outside the private room. Su Fan opened the door and saw a middle-aged cultivator in the Golden Core realm. He welcomed the other party into the private room, and the man bowed to him after he sat down. "I'm Fan Zudong. When did you arrive at Xianfang Valley?" Su Fan also bowed to the other party, then picked up the wine pot and poured a glass of spirit wine for him. "I just arrived not long ago." He put down the wine pot, and then smiled and said, "Dao Iao, can you take me to the stronghold of Wu Dao to take a look?" "No problem, I can take you there now." Su Fan waved his hand and smiled and said, "No hurry, let's eat first." At this moment, in a luxurious courtyard deep in the Xiangfeng Valley, Haomeo Xianzhen and two other old monsters in the half-step fusion realm were sitting cross-legged in the quiet room. In front of him, more than a dozen Liangsu realm cultivators from the Kangqiu realm stood there respectfully. Since he and Linhe Xianzhen jointly asked for help from the headquarters, the law enforcement hall of the Wu Dao headquarters has sent 5 elite law enforcement teams. Because they have not been able to predict Su Fan's aura, their 6 elite law enforcement teams are divided into 2, guarding the east and west areas of the Barademon Mountains so that they can attack at any time. But now more than a year has passed, and Su Fan seems to have disappeared. Many divination monks have been divination day and night, but have not found his trace. If it were not for the divination results showing that he did not leave the Barademon Mountains, they would even think that this guy escaped from Wu Ocean. There is no way. Haomeo Xianzhen and others can only wait patiently for Su Fan to show up. With the temperament of this big devil, he will show up again sooner or later and take crazy revenge on the Wu Dao. Although Su Fan has not shown up, this period of time has also made the Wu Dao extremely embarrassed. All the core members of the organization have hidden themselves, and even a large number of peripheral gangs have all shrunk together, for fear of being defeated by the big devil. As for business, it has been stopped long ago. Why would they still want to do business at this time? Now, the Wu Dao is extremely aggrieved from top to bottom. Although no one said anything, they all have complaints about Linhe Xianzhen provoking Su Fan. Why the hell did you want to provoke the big devil? In the past, the Wu Dao not only made a lot of money every day, but also had a considerable daily income. Now that the organization has been shut down for more than 2 years, the losses added up are definitely astronomical. But now that things have come to this, everyone knows it in their hearts. If the big devil Su Fan is not killed, it is still unclear whether the Wu Dao can exist in Wu Ocean in the future. Who is Su Fan? This guy is extremely cruel. Once provoked, it will be a fight to the death. If this big devil is not killed, the people of the Wu Dao can't even sleep well. Dao Io Heo Mio, how long do we have to wait? The person who spoke at this time was an old monster in the half-step fusion realm, sitting next to Haomeo Xianzhen. He was wearing a black and white yin-yang robe, and his face was full of wrinkles. Moreover, his face and hands were covered with blue-gray age spots, densely covering his body, like a corpse covered with corpse spots after a long death. In particular, his aura was extremely gloomy, revealing a cold and gloomy aura of a coffin. No need to guess. This old monster in the half-step fusion realm was born in the zombie sect of the demon sect Old Ghost Xianqi. Can't you say less? Haomeo Xianzhen looked at the other party helplessly, and couldn't help sighing in his heart. Su Fan, this guy, not only has a demon seed, but also focuses on physical cultivation, and is good at many methods of the demon sect and evil ways, and even has dabbled in witchcraft. If it were another cultivator, the Taoist tradition of cultivation would be so chaotic that it would be a blessing from the Taoist ancestors to break through the golden elixir. But this guy was obviously messing around, and it could even be said that he practiced a few tricks blindly, but he practiced every one of them to perfection. Therefore, the 5 elite teams sent by the Wu Dao Law Enforcement Hall this time were all composed of demon sect monks. Because of his skills, although this old ghost Yanshi has become a half-step fusion realm master, his temper is still very bad, and he has not complained for more than a year. Tianxi, you are the only one who talks too much nonsense. You make my head hurt every day. At this time, another old monster in the half-step fusion realm spoke. The old monster's 2 eyeballs were only white, which were full of dense worms, and his whole face was covered with blood-like rune veins, which looked quite weird and creepy. The old ghost Yanshi and the old demon Zuling have always been at odds, and they have had many quarrels these days. Zuling, you shut up, but before he finished scolding, a cultivator from the Kangqiu realm ran in from outside. Greetings to the 3 heavenly lords. Master Chongsun has just predicted the boy's aura. He is in Xiangfang Valley. Chapter 934 I have never seen such a reckless person. After hearing the words of the monk from the Kangqiu realm, everyone in the room was stunned. In order to find Su Fan's trace, when Hayao Shianzan asked for help from the headquarters, he specially asked the law enforcement hall to assign a divination monk to each team. Originally, he did not trust the divination monks from the Jiaoxu realm, thinking that their level was not good enough. As a result, the divination masters specially recruited from the headquarters have been in Wuyaoshan for so long, but they still have not predicted Su Fan's aura. Today is the first time that several divination masters from the Kankyu realm have caught Su Fan's trace. What shocked them most was that this kid was actually in the Xianfang Valley. The old ghost Xianxi stood up from the ground. What are you waiting for? Let's go find that kid. Boom. Before he finished speaking, he heard a loud noise coming from outside. Then, an extremely terrifying murderous aura spread like a huge wave like a mountain and sea. The entire void world trembled violently at this moment. In the perception of the divine sense of Hayao Shianzan and others in the house, it seemed as if a great terror had descended upon the world. This powerful and breathtaking aura made them tremble with fear. Not only the cultivators from the Kankyu realm, but also the people from the Xianfang Valley were stunned. They felt as if some terrifying big man was about to cross the border, and the overwhelming pressure was crushing them. The vast and boundless terrifying aura almost crushed the entire world. Like some cultivators of lower realms, the magnet's body was shaking like a sieve, and the flesh and blood seemed to be overwhelmed. They were crushed to the ground by this extremely terrifying aura and dared not move. That feeling was like an ant looking up at the gods in the sky. Especially Fan Zudong, who led Su Fan here, he also collapsed on the ground at this time, staring at the blood-colored light column that fell from the sky. He never thought that this guy was actually a cultivator in the god transformation realm. Brother, didn't you say that you just came to take a look? How could he just do it? Fan Zudong has been working as an intelligence agent in Ruai Pavilion for at least several decades, and he has never seen such a reckless person. That is the base of Wuai Dao, and there may be dozens of Liangsu realm monks from Kankyu realm hiding inside. According to reliable information, there are at least 2 big men in the half-step fusion realm. You dare to confront dozens of Liangsu realm monks in the base of Wuai Dao alone? Are you looking for death? Just when Fan Zudong was thinking about it, he felt that he was thrown up by a huge force. He was thrown more than 10 miles away, hit the defense formation of Xianfeng Valley heavily, bounced back, and fell heavily to the ground. Get out of here quickly. Fan Zudong, who was dizzy from the fall, had a thought in his mind. He quickly took out a jade talisman from his ring and drew it on the formation, then fled from Xianfeng Valley with a tumble. No, he's coming. At this moment, the face of Hayao Shianzan in the room suddenly changed, and he shouted loudly. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, a huge hammer of several dozen feet in size was seen roaring down from the sky. The huge hammer brought with it a mighty force of heaven and earth. And at this moment it roared down all over the sky. The extremely terrifying and vast aura penetrated the sky without any disguise, and crashed towards the courtyard. The whole sky was dimmed at this moment. That extremely terrifying and vast momentum gave people a feeling that the sky was falling. Since being pulled into the dream of the great Dao by the ghost demon, Su Fan has now gained a very deep understanding of the power of the law. Even if he uses the 8th level immortal weapon demon subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer, he can also exert the rich and pure power of the law of the mountain. Although Hayao Shianzan and others in the room are all old monsters in the refining void realm, when it comes to the understanding of the power of the law, it may not be as profound as Su Fan's. Everyone couldn't help but think that the law of the mountain displayed by this kid was so majestic and heavy. Even the 3 half-step fusion masters, Hayao Shianzan, Xianxi Lao Gyanzuling Liumo, believed that they could not display it. Bang! Hayao Shianzan's eyes condensed, his figure broke through the roof, and the whole person turned into a stream of light and rushed into the sky. He waved his hand and sacrificed his own immortal weapon, and chopped at the giant hammer that fell from the sky. Ouch! Xianxi Lao roared to the sky, and his figure instantly turned into a hideous zombie more than 10 feet tall, standing between heaven and earth. He swung his right arm and punched the 8th level immortal weapon demon, subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer with a fierce punch. Buzz! Zuling Liumo suddenly turned into a densely packed poisonous insect, flying all over the sky and flew out of the house. Countless poisonous insects almost covered the sky and turned into a fierce hurricane, whistling towards Su Fan outside the courtyard. The other cultivators from the Kankyu realm in the room were obviously a step slower. At this moment, The 8th level immortal weapon demon subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer whistled down and smashed hard on the natal immortal weapon of Hayao Oshianzan. Boom boom, with a terrifying loud noise, a terrifying effect like Mars hitting the earth suddenly broke out, producing a terrifying explosion that almost overturned the entire sky. The whole world shook violently, and the terrifying and powerful horn rolled up a terrifying storm that penetrated the sky. A visible airflow swept in all directions, raging wildly in the Xianfang Valley. Hayao Oshianzan's natal immortal weapon had already developed spiritual intelligence, and it let out a shrill hissing sound and was instantly shaken up. The 8th rank immortal weapon demon subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer smashed the immortal weapon away, but it was almost unhindered and continued to roar down. Boom! The huge hammer, which was dozens of feet in size, collided with a giant fist of the old ghost Xianxi again. Once again, the aftermath of the explosion was like a tsunami, sweeping across a radius of thousands of miles. The annihilation force formed by the terrifying shock wave raged wildly, and the entire building in Xianfeng Valley was instantly crushed to pieces by a terrifying force. The aftermath of the explosion also set off a world-destroying storm, and the monks of Xianfeng Valley were also swept into this terrifying torrent like fallen leaves. The terrifying impacts generated by layers of violent airflows caused the entire world to vibrate violently. The sharp and boundless terrifying airflow seemed to cut the entire space into pieces in an instant, and everything it passed was turned into dust. At this moment, Xianfeng Valley no longer existed. Except for a few high-level monks who managed to escape by relying on their best life-saving methods, the rest of them have been turned into broken corpses or even blood rain. Among the dozens of monks from the Kankyu realm in the courtyard, except for the 3 old monsters in the fusion realm who took the lead in launching a counterattack, nearly half of the remaining people were involved in this terrifying annihilation force before they could react, and they died. Even the more than 10 monks from the Kankyu realm who escaped by chance were all injured. Chapter 935 This kid must die. When the smoke cleared, the valley was gone. The once prosperous Xianfeng Valley was now full of ruins, corpses, limbs, blood and flesh. Even the mountains around the valley had been stripped of a layer of soil and rocks, and the originally dense forests had been uprooted, as if they had been scraped with a knife. At this moment, Su Fan stood there, looking at several Kankyu realm monks floating in the air opposite. In fact, the big move he just launched, which contained the law of the mountain, was mainly to verify the effect of his 4th round of blood quenching. The result of the verification brought him a great surprise, and the power was much stronger than he imagined. Su Fan did not expect that after the 4th round of blood quenching, his strength would increase so much. This was a blow he launched with his human body without using his demonized body. The reason for this should be that when he broke through the realm of transformation, he swallowed the essence and blood of the old demon of the old ancestor of the Deadwood, who was in the fusion realm. When he practiced the dragon elephant swallowing yuan refining blood mysterious art next, he tempered the blood in his body for the 4th time. He fully integrated and absorbed the essence of the Deadwood old demon, which made his strength grow so exaggeratedly. Although Su Fan was attacking by surprise, those Kankyu realm monks were caught off guard and did not react in a hurry. If he used the demonized body, the power would increase by nearly 10 times. Even if the monks of the Kankyu realm on the opposite side were on guard, it is estimated that they would not get much benefit. Thinking of this, Su Fan felt relieved. Originally, he was still a little worried. After all, he had to face several half-step fusion realm monsters and dozens of Liangsu realm monks. Now it seems that there is nothing to worry about. Su Fan's current strength is even afraid of himself. At this moment, the opposite side of the vast Xianzan and others all looked at Su Fan with gloomy faces. They never thought that this kid's strength was so amazing. He was clearly just a cultivator in the spiritualization realm, and he relied on the secret method of the Wu sect to forcibly raise his realm to the refining void realm. But the big move just now, which contained the law of the mountain, made the 3 of them, who were half-step to the combination realm, so embarrassed. Hayao Oshianzan's lifelong immortal weapon was severely damaged and could not be used for a short time. The right arm of the old ghost Xianxi was almost broken by the giant hammer just now. Now the whole right arm is still trembling slightly, and it is temporarily useless. The old demon Zuling was even worse. He originally thought that the insect swarm storm of the demon sex insect poison was trying to sneak attack Su Fan. As a result, he underestimated the power of Su Fan's heavy hammer. The blow containing the rich and pure law of the mountain almost destroyed the insect poison he had nurtured for many years. It is really a monster that has not appeared for 10,000 years. Even in the Kankyu realm, there are not many cultivators as fierce as this. The 3 half-step fusion masters were fine. The more than 10 Kankyu realm monks who survived by chance looked at Su Fan with a deep fear in their eyes. Originally, these people from the Kankyu realm had an inexplicable sense of superiority in front of the Gyousu realm monks. They always felt that they were from the middle-class world and were naturally superior. Unexpectedly, Su Fan's attack just now completely shattered their sense of superiority. All the monks from the Kankyu realm felt like they were slapped hard. And now it's not a question of embarrassment, but whether they can get away with it. Even Pyaomia Oshianzan, Shianchi Leo Gyanzuling Leomo, the 3 half-step fusion monsters, had a solemn look on their faces. They knew in their hearts that they could no longer hold back, and it was time to fight desperately. Pyaomia Oshianzan, Shianchi Leo Gyanzuling Leomo looked at each other, and they all saw a trace of determination in each other's eyes. No matter what the price, this kid must die. He was so powerful in the spiritualization realm. What would happen if he broke through the void refining realm? Pyaomia Oshianzan took out a jade talisman from his ring, and with a pop, he crushed the jade talisman. With a bang, a spiritual shield was instantly propped up, covering the devastated valley. Looking at the spiritual shield above his head, he was stunned. After all, Su Fan has been immersed in the art of formation for many years, and he saw at a glance that this spiritual shield was extraordinary. This is a great formation to seal the town. Once the opponent is trapped in the formation, it is absolutely impossible to escape. Although Su Fan is very powerful, in the eyes of Pyaomia Oshianzan and others, it was because of his sneak attack that they did not react in a hurry. The 3 of them, the half-step fusion realm masters, plus more than a dozen void refining realm cultivators, can't they take this kid down together? It can only be said that they don't know Su Fan well enough. Su Fan smiled bitterly, and didn't expect that these old bastards were afraid that he would run away. Who are you looking down on? If I let any of you survive today, I will lose. Ouch! The old ghost Shianchi suddenly roared to the sky, and a thick black smoke suddenly filled his body. With a boom, the zombie body that was originally more than 10 feet tall suddenly expanded several times and turned into a hideous zombie that was dozens of feet tall. Not only that, he also patted the small black coffin on his waist. Instantly summoned more than 10 fierce 8th level zombies, which also slowly expanded to more than 10 feet tall like him, and then roared and rushed towards Su Fan. The old demon Zuling's eyes condensed, and only the whites of his eyes revealed an evil and strange look. He muttered to himself and chanted strange spells. Boom! The old demon Zuling was surrounded by waves of black smoke, and the temperature around him dropped suddenly. As a dark fog spread over, it was like a mountain wind surging, and the extremely terrifying momentum was as majestic as a mountain. In a flash, the surroundings seemed to have fallen into a ghost den. Countless ghosts surged in the black fog, and there was a dead silence wherever they passed. The desolate and ancient war song began to echo mournfully on the land. At this time, the world was extremely dim, and the ghostly aura filled the air. The mournful and desolate war song seemed to be telling the eternal resentment. Countless ghosts of the Ghost King and Ghost Emperor realms were looming in the black fog. Through the heavy fog, even several emperors of the netherworld could be vaguely seen. And the vast and ethereal Shianzan was hiding behind the 2 of them, constantly changing his hand seals with his hands. It was obvious that he was performing a powerful immortal technique. The other dozen or so Liangsu realm monks of the Kankyu realm were also performing various housekeeping methods and attacking Su Fan frantically. For a time, various immortal tools, talismans, and other means of attack covered Su Fan in an overwhelming manner. Chapter 936 This is too much? Looking at the 3 half-step fusion-level old monsters from the Kankyu realm opposite him, Su Fan had to admit that the Taoism of the middle-level world was indeed much stronger than that of the Gyousu realm. The old monster with a zombie body summoned more than 10 zombies equivalent to the 8th-level human realm of Liangsu at once. The flesh body of another old monster of the demon sex insect poison was actually a spirit body transformed from a ghost body. His main practice was not insect poison but ghost Taoism. Among the ghosts he summoned, there were actually several emperors of the netherworld equivalent to the strength of the human realm of Liangsu. Although there were many fierce souls of Liangsu cultivators in Su Fan's Yinwu army, these fierce souls had lost their spiritual wisdom and were just a group of fierce souls who only knew how to kill. They could not be compared with these ghost cultivators who practiced a formal ghost Taoism. The old monster of the Xian sect who was half-step fusion was hiding behind the two of them, and it seemed that he was preparing to launch a big move. Su Fan sneered, and then his eyes condensed. Boom, with a dull humming sound, the black mist that permeated his body suddenly boiled up, and in a flash, the demon body had reached hundreds of feet high. Fine black scales surged from the demon body, constantly drilling out from every corner of the demon body, bursting out with incomparable terrifying power. Crack, crack, fierce bone spurs squeezed out from every joint, and each key part formed a piece of rough armor. The huge head was covered with long hair, and the hair was as thick as a finger like tough steel wire. Two hideous horns grew on both sides of the forehead. Moreover, a vertical eye opened between the eyebrows, flashing with a resentful light, revealing a terrible evil power. Ouch! The demon body that Su Fan turned into roared to the sky, and the evil power like a tide suddenly swept out. This terrifying sound was heard from a long distance, with a faint low wail, a gloomy breath and a fierce killing intent. Heo Mao Shai Anzan and the others were all stunned by the terrifying and ferocious demon body opposite. What the hell are you kidding? This is too much? Just now, Su Fan's human body was already very fierce, but his demon body's strength has increased by more than 10 times. This is too fierce. Originally, they thought that they could take this kid down together, but who would have thought that Su Fan would not follow martial ethics and directly transform into such a fierce and huge demon body? Facing the overwhelming immortal weapons and talismans attacking him, Su Fan instantly rose behind him. 1,000 feet high ancient demon dragon elephant. At this time, the surrounding environment seemed to have passed through endless time and space, and the scenery within a radius of thousands of miles changed, turning into a vast and boundless wild plain. Dragon elephant step. Su Fan suddenly raised his foot and stepped down fiercely. At this moment, the aura of heaven and earth within a radius of nearly 10,000 miles seemed to have a violent vibration at this moment, and was controlled by an invisible and intangible force. The vast and terrifying aura gathered like a tsunami, condensing into an extremely huge elephant foot in the sky, emitting a terrifying force that made even the heaven and earth tremble. Above the 9 heavens, the light was dimmed at this moment. The huge elephant foot, which was hundreds of feet in size, covered the sky and the sun with a vast and majestic force, and roared down from the sky. Boom! In an instant, the world shook violently, and the huge elephant foot, which was hundreds of feet in size in the sky, fell to the ground with a terrifying roar. A wave of visible light ripples, like a tidal wave, shook and swept across the land for thousands of miles in an instant. The terrifying shock wave burst out with a sharp whistle, and the vast momentum swept like a tidal tsunami, causing one layer of turbulent waves after another, almost overturning the void. The mountains within a radius of thousands of miles trembled violently, and the ground was also shaken and collapsed. The soil of the earth collapsed layer by layer, and the forest of towering trees was crushed like dust and turned into flying ash. All the rocks and soil, shaken by the shock of this terrible force, collapsed layer by layer, and shattered into dust in an instant. Especially the valley where Su Fan was, under this terrifying impact and collision, it collapsed into a huge pit of dozens of miles in size in an instant. The surrounding space field seemed to be distorted, and the majestic pressure radiated to the surrounding space. Huge cracks spread around the space like a spider web, and it looked like it was about to collapse. And the terrifying impact that was like a substance swept across, and the terrifying hurricane it set off was like a natural disaster from hell that descended on the world, destroying all the materials within a radius of hundreds or thousands of feet. The dozen or so 8th level zombies rushing over from the opposite side were the first to bear the brunt, and were instantly caught in this violent storm. More than a dozen 8th level zombies were instantly swept up and thrown into the sky, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Next came the dark and inky ghost den of the blood spirit demon. The terrifying hurricane was like thunder, sweeping across the ghost den. The dense ghosts and spirits in the dark smoke were instantly submerged by the mighty and turbulent waves. Countless ghosts and spirits were annihilated in this terrifying annihilation energy. No, everyone be careful. How could the vast heavenly venerable have the mind to perform any big moves? He shouted hurriedly, and then his figure disappeared in an instant. The Sky Corpse Ghost and the Blood Spirit Demon also realized the danger and disappeared from their original places. They had no time to care about the zombies and ghost dens. They never thought that Su Fan would exert such a terrifying power of destroying the world with just one step. Even though they were already cultivators in the half-step fusion realm, they did not dare to face this mighty power like a turbulent wave. The other 10 or so cultivators of the void refining realm and the Kankyu realm were in a miserable state. They were like isolated boats caught in a tsunami, and were instantly swallowed up by this terrifying storm that spread across the sky and the earth. The 3 half-step fusion realm masters who escaped from this terrifying storm looked at their 10 or so subordinates who had all turned into the bloody rain, and their broken limbs and arms fell to the ground with a crackling sound. The vast heavenly venerable, who had escaped from the center of the storm, tried his best to keep his body stable. Under his calm face, a chill rose from the bottom of his heart, and a storm was set off in his heart. The old ghost Xianqi and the old demon Zuling were the same. Both of them had a solemn look on their faces. It had only been less than a year, and how could this kid's strength have become so much stronger? It had increased by more than several times. Not to mention them, even Su Fan himself did not expect it. After he had undergone the 4th round of tempering of his blood, all aspects of his body data had experienced explosive growth. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 937. This old guy really trying his best. Who would have thought that in less than 2 years, Su Fan's strength would have improved so much? It's no wonder that Haomiya Oshianzan and others couldn't figure it out. Even if they traveled through the 3,000 worlds, they couldn't find a few monsters like Su Fan who defied the heavens. Although Haomiya Oshianzan and others had been to the battlefield of the Xianren clan's altar not long ago, they also saw with their own eyes the sword mark left by Su Fan and the hundreds of miles-long space crack he cut. Although they admitted that Su Fan's strength was extremely fierce, they didn't believe that this kid could escape unscathed under the siege of several half-step fusion realm monks. These Kankyu realm monks who looked up to the top, if they could find a Wu Ioshin monk to ask carefully, they would not underestimate Su Fan, the big devil. Since Su Fan created a great reputation in Jiaoxu realm, he has been constantly creating miracles one after another. Countless masters and powerful people in the entire Jiaoxu realm were slapped in the face by him. Now no matter what defied the heavens this monster did, they would not be surprised. Since arriving at Jiaoxu realm, the group of people of Haomiya Oshianzan have never taken the cultivators here seriously. They thought that sending 5 more elite law enforcement teams and 6 half-step fusion realm cultivators would be able to deal with Su Fan. So until Su Fan just made a move, they still arranged a sealing magic circle, fearing that Su Fan would escape from here. Little did they know that by doing this, they also sent themselves to the brink of death. Haomiya Oshianzan turned his head and glanced at the old ghost Xianqi and the old demon Zuling next to him. Two Taoist friends, don't hide it anymore. The old ghost Xianqi and the old demon Zuling listened, and both of them didn't say anything. At this time, they knew very well that they had to fight desperately, otherwise they would really die today. Awu, the old ghost Xianqi roared to the sky, swung his thick arms and hit his chest hard. Boom, his whole body was suddenly filled with dark magic smoke, and the huge zombie body expanded again. Bang, the old ghost Xianqi stomped his foot on the ground, as if he was stepping on a steel floor, and rushed towards Su Fan like a cannonball. He had already activated the most extreme state of the zombie body without regard for the consequences, and his strength increased several times in an instant. But once the time limit of this extreme state is gone, he will suffer unimaginable side effects. This old guy is really trying hard. The old demon Zuling was not to be outdone. He condensed several strange seals with his hands and chanted obscure spells loudly. Boom, with a dull loud noise, his body exploded and turned into dense insect poisons, and then gathered into a hideous and ugly big insect over 100 feet tall. The huge inverted triangle head, strangely protruding eyes, a scarlet abyss mouth, a mouth full of sharp and slender fangs like steel needles flashing cold light, and making a shrill scream. The whole body is covered with black hard armor, and the 2 thick claws that are like giant scissors make a clicking sound when they open and close. There is a curled tail behind the buttocks, and a pair of green wing-like membranes are spread out on the back. At this critical moment, the old demon Zuling also transformed into his own life-defining divine goo, which is also his strongest state. He will not easily transform into his life-defining divine goo, because once the divine goo is damaged, it will directly damage his cultivation foundation, and even his future avenue will not make any progress. Pyomyo Shianzan took a deep breath. He knew that he had to fight hard at this time. His eyes condensed, and blood filled his whole body, and then his hands quickly pinched a few hand seals. He performed a family secret method, consuming his own blood and ki to reduce the preparation time for the casting of immortal arts. The spirituality of Pyomyo Shianzan's life-defining immortal weapon was damaged and it was temporarily useless. He is a cultivator of the immortal sex magic, and the only thing he relies on is a few powerful immortal arts. Unfortunately, the preparation time for casting these powerful immortal arts is relatively long, and the longest one even takes more than 10 breaths. But how could the boy opposite give him so much time? So he cast this family secret method with a ruthless heart. This secret method also has strong side effects. Once the secret method ends, his blood and ki will be exhausted. Boom! The long-hidden killing move of the vast heavenly master finally burst out at this moment. At this moment, the whole sky suddenly began to roll and boil like a pot, and a dazzling light suddenly appeared, like the sun shining in the sky, and the dazzling light illuminated every inch of space within a radius of hundreds of miles. Between the rolling wind and clouds, an extremely dazzling light, wrapped in the power of destroying the world, shot down from the sky. They really think highly of themselves. The three half-step fusion masters did not want to hold back at all, and they all looked like they were fighting for their lives. Su Fan sneered, and as soon as he thought about it, a dark black sword appeared in his hand. He raised the sword above his head with both hands, and then cut it down lightly. Shoo! A plain sword light seemed to emerge from nothingness, without any smell of fireworks, but with an indescribable mysterious artistic conception. The sword light passed through the void. Everything was like an antelope hanging on a horn, leaving no trace, and even without any smell of fireworks, but in a flash, it revealed a mysterious and unfathomable Dao. The whole world seemed to solidify at this moment, as if filled with an indescribable mysterious meaning. Not good, the power of law, the power of Su Fan's law. Pyomyo Shianzan and others have seen it. The space crack that was hundreds of miles long still makes them feel scared. At this moment, Pyomyo Shianzan and others felt that a great terror that could not be described in words was coming. They all thought of the sword mark left on the battlefield of the Shianran clan altar. The three people seemed to have fallen into the abyss of hell, their hair stood on end, and the great terror that came from nowhere made them tremble all over. This sword light seemed to be very slow, but in fact, its speed was unimaginably fast. In the blink of an eye, it slashed at the dazzling light that fell from the sky. Boom! The dazzling light was instantly slashed by the sword, and the terrifying aftermath resounded through the void, shaking the space to the point where it was visible to the naked eye. The aftermath of the explosion, wrapped in hot energy, rolled up an endless torrent in the entire space, sweeping across thousands of miles. Su Fan showed a hint of surprise on his face. Before the fourth round of bloodline quenching was completed, he could only slash with such a sword several times. But after the sword slash just now, he felt that he still had a lot of strength left, and it would be no problem to slash more than a dozen swords. At this time, the zombie body of the old ghost Xianqi, which was more than 100 feet long, and the natal insect poison condensed by the old demon Zuling, rushed towards him from two directions almost at the same time. Su Fan sneered, raised his sword high, and slashed it fiercely. Chapter 938. This kid is not a human being at all. Boom boom, following a loud noise that shook the world, an extremely sharp sword light flashed. With a vast and boundless terrifying murderous aura, a light that seemed to split the entire world in half rose from the horizon, like a rising sun. This sword light was as dazzling as the sun, almost filing the entire world and tearing the vast sky. Wherever the eyes could see, an invisible ripple on both sides of the sword light oscillated towards the surroundings, forming a chaotic storm that swept the entire sky, and the space seemed to be reversed and distorted. The sharp sword light slashed towards the terrifying life-defining insect goo of the blood spirit demon. Boom! With one sword, the ferocious giant insect dozens of feet high was split apart, turning into dense insect goo flying all over the sky, but then it was caught in the annihilation storm and was smashed to pieces by the sharp edge. The old demon Zuling tried his best to collect some of the insect poison, and then he barely condensed his body, but his strength was already 70% to 80%. His natal insect poison was also greatly damaged. At this moment, the zombie body of the old ghost Xianqi, which was more than 100 feet tall, had already rushed up. Su Fan did not draw his sword again, but rushed towards the opponent. Boom boom, The old ghost Xianxi felt like he had hit a towering mountain. He was hit by his strongest zombie body and could not move at all. He was suddenly blown up by an extremely huge recoil force, and his huge zombie body flew upside down. But before he landed, he felt a huge figure catching up with him like a shadow, and someone grabbed his neck. The old ghost Xianxi wanted to break free, but no matter how he struggled, it was useless, and then he felt that he was lifted into the air. Boom boom, Su Fan's demonized body lifted the old ghost Xianxi into the air, and then slammed him to the ground, making a huge noise. The zombie body of the old ghost Xianxi, which was more than 100 feet long, was smashed directly into the ground for more than 10 meters. Before he could react, a huge demon foot fell from the sky and stepped on him fiercely, kicking him deeper into the ground. With just a few kicks, the old ghost Xianxi was kicked to death, and even the yin god did not escape Su Fan's poisonous hands. The miserable state of Hao Miao Xianzhen and Zuling old demon in the distance immediately made him want to retreat. This kid is not a human at all. Even the big demons of the demon clan are not as cruel as this guy. But the sealing magic array arranged by Hao Miao Xianzhen is not only a seal for the opponent, but even he, the person who set up the array, needs some effort to lift the seal. Blood Spirit Taoist, help me resist for a few breaths. After hearing the words of Hao Miao Xianzhen, the old ancestor of Zuling was also in tears. His strength had been lost by more than half, so how could he still have the ability to resist this big demon? But at this time, the old demon of Zuling could only grit his teeth and fight hard. If Hao Miao Xianzhen cannot unlock the seal, they will die anyway, so why not give it a try? At this moment, the huge figure on the opposite side swept across dozens of miles like thunder and lightning, and rushed to them with an extremely terrifying momentum. The Blood Spirit Patriarch made up his mind and waved his hand fiercely. Suddenly, several groups of thick black smoke appeared in front of him. Bang! Bang! Those thick black shadows exploded one after another, condensing into several ferocious giant insects that were dozens of feet tall. These huge giant insects were filled with thick black smoke, and each of them exuded an extremely terrifying aura. These were high-level dead insects that the Blood Spirit Patriarch had cultivated for many years. Each of them was made from the corpses of the 7th and 8th level golden insects, and was refined using secret methods. These high-level dead insects have not been refined yet, but he doesn't care about that. As soon as those huge black dead insects woke up, they burst out with an evil and brutal aura and began to pounce on Su Fan frantically. Boom! However, Su Fan's huge demon body, which was hundreds of feet tall, passed through several huge dead insects directly, and the originally ferocious dead insects were smashed to pieces. Seeing that several dead insects did not block Su Fan's huge demon body at all, the Blood Spirit Ancestor was stunned. Boom! Before he could react, his body was already blasted by Su Fan, and it immediately turned into a dense swarm of insects flying everywhere. Su Fan stretched out his hand fiercely and grabbed a ferocious insect several feet in size from the dense swarm of insects. This was the Blood Spirit Old Demon Symbiotic Life Goo, which was equivalent to Su Fan holding his life in his hands. Dao, keep this thing, I need it. Su Fan was about to crush the Blood Spirit Ancestor's life goo, but the idea of the evil Buddha Wangda came to his mind. He sealed the ferocious insect in his hand several times, and then threw it into the oil lamp magic weapon in the secret realm. At this moment, the vast heavenly master had lifted the seal, and he quickly activated the escape technique, and his figure instantly disappeared from the spot. But when he opened his eyes, he found himself in an extremely dark area. And there were blazing and eerie flames all around, and the yin fires were like thorns, like ferocious venomous snakes entwining around the vast heavenly master. Not good. The vast heavenly master knew in his heart that the moment he escaped, he had already fallen into the opponent's domain. And this was a rare netherworld domain, and those yin fires were the most insidious and vicious netherworld yin fire in the world of cultivation. Without thinking, the vast heavenly master activated several protective talismans, and instantly propped up several spiritual shields in front of him. Even so, he was still a little worried, and sacrificed several 8th level defensive fairy weapons, propping up a line of defense to block him. Zizzy. Zizzy, but in the blink of an eye, several spiritual shields were burned by the netherworld yin fire. Bang! Bang! The spiritual shields that blocked the vast heavenly master were broken one after another. Then his 8th-level defense fairy weapons lost their spirituality and fell to the ground one by one. At this time, Su Fan appeared in the netherworld domain. At this time, he had restored his human body. Seeing that the vast heavenly master was desperately resisting the attack of the fire entanglement, a cruel smile appeared in his eyes. Su Fan's eyes condensed, and the netherworld yin fire in the netherworld domain instantly became agitated and devoured the vast heavenly master crazily. Now, let's talk it over. Spare my life, I spare you. Su Fan was about to control the netherworld yin fire to sweep the opponent into ashes, and the idea of the evil Buddha Wangda came to his mind again. Leave me with your life, and I will help you make a human slave. Chapter 939, A monster appears in tens of thousands of years. At this moment, Fan Zudong was hiding thousands of miles away, lying on a mountain peak cautiously and looking at the Xianfang Valley in the distance. Although he felt that he was very far away, and he had also activated several defensive talismans. But even so, he was almost affected by the aftermath of the battle in the distance. It was not until the battle in the distance came to an end that he breathed a sigh of relief. That was a battle between cultivators at the level of the refining void realm. Each blow was enough to destroy the world and even affect an area of nearly 10,000 miles. At this time, the jade talisman on Fan Zudong's waist vibrated slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and took a look, and found that it was a message from his online Kinyu. Have you seen that person? Seeing this message, Fan Zudong was furious. Brother, it's too unkind. You should have told me earlier that he was the big devil Su Fan. Why didn't you tell me that he was Su Fan? After a long time, Kinyu replied to a message. I need to keep the client's identity confidential. Fan Zudong was furious when he heard this. What the hell is keeping it confidential? That big devil didn't even say hello to him, and he came straight to his door. If I hadn't run fast, I would have turned into ashes now. That big devil just arrived and he came straight to my door. What? He has already made a move? That's not good. That guy is too f***ing cruel. He rushed over without even saying hello. The battle is over. I'll go over and take a look. Did he kill those people from Kankyu Realm? Not only those people from Kankyu Realm, now even Xianfang Valley no longer exists. Kinyu looked at the message sent by Fan Zudong and was stunned for a long time. Those were 3 old monsters in the half-step fusion realm, plus dozens of cultivators in the refining realm, and they were all killed by this guy. These people are not simple, they are all elite cultivators from the Kankyu realm. Moreover, they were all from the Law Enforcement Hall of the Wuidao headquarters. Anyone who could enter the Law Enforcement Hall of the Wuidao headquarters was an elite among elites. Even in the entire Kankyu realm, these people were considered the top cultivators. It was really a time when a demon didn't appear for tens of thousands of years. It seemed that this world couldn't accommodate him anymore. Kinyu thought about it and decided to report the matter to the top of the organization. Such a client couldn't be treated as usual. Thinking of this, he quickly sent a message to Fan Zudong. Go over now, record the battlefield video, and then secretly send it to me. Seeing the message sent by Kinyu, Fan Zudong cursed inwardly. But the other party was Yu's superior after all, and he didn't dare to disobey the orders issued by the other party, so he had to fly the magic weapon towards the direction of Xianfang Valley. After a while, he flew over the sky near Xianfang Valley. Suddenly, several ferocious ghosts appeared in front of him, led by a ghost cultivator of the Ghost King realm who blocked his way. Fan Zudong was frightened out of nowhere. That was the Ghost King. Killing him was like playing. Yaksha, let him come. Just when Fan Zudong was scared out of his wits, a gentle voice came from a distance. The Ghost King opposite him had a cruel and brutal look in his eyes. He glanced at him coldly, then turned into a black mist and disappeared. Seeing that the hideous Ghost King left, Fan Zudong was relieved. He was so scared that his soul almost flew away. His whole body was soaked with cold sweat. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and continued to fly forward. When Fan Zudong flew to Xianfang Valley, he was stunned by the scene in front of him. The prosperous town of Xianfang Valley had long since disappeared, and even the valley was gone. Even the mountains surrounding it on 3 sides were flattened. At this time, countless ghost soldiers and ghost generals were flying all over the sky, and the whole valley was filled with a bone-chilling breath. Looking at the devastated Xianfang Valley, Fan Zudong couldn't help but sigh. He had lived here for several months, and there were hundreds of thousands of people here, but in just a short while, everything was gone. Fan Zudong secretly opened the recording device and recorded all the situations on the battlefield. He came to Su Fan and bowed down to pay homage. Junior Fan Zudong, I pay homage to the immortal Su Fan. Su Fan turned his head, looked at him with a smile, and scanned his recording device. It was probably the task assigned to this guy by Qin Yu, so he didn't expose it. "Didn't you leave? Why are you back again?" Fan Zudong couldn't help but secretly complain. "Do you think I want to? Isn't this the task given to him by that bastard Qin Yu? Junior came to take a look, so that I can report to the organization when I go back." Su Fan nodded and said, "Well, then you can take a look." Fan Zudong listened and bowed again. "Then I'll go first." Looking at Fan Zudong's back, Su Fan didn't care about him. Since he felt that Ruai Pavilion didn't take him seriously, he was somewhat disappointed with this organization. "Sister Zhen, speed up a little bit, the commotion just now was not small, and it might attract those high-level monsters nearby." He was not afraid of them, but he didn't want to expose his whereabouts. After a while, Sister Zhen and her ghost soldiers cleaned up the battlefield, and then turned into a ball of black smoke and drilled into the portable secret realm on Su Fan's waist. Su Fan glanced at Fan Zudong in the distance, and then his figure disappeared in the air in an instant. About an hour later, people rushed here from all directions. The news that Xiangfang Valley was wiped out began to spread to the entire Burial Demon Mountain range at a very fast speed, and it spread to Wu'ai Ocean in less than 2 days. Although in the eyes of ordinary cultivators, Xiangfang Valley is just a place where bandits sell stolen goods. But the top leaders of the major forces in the Burial Demon Mountain range actually know that this is a stronghold of Wu'ai Dao. Then, the news that dozens of cultivators in the refining realm of the Kankyu realm were killed by Su Fan in the Xiangfang Valley quickly spread throughout the Wu'ai heaven. This news was obviously spread by the Ruai Pavilion, for which they earned a lot of Lingayu. The people in the Wu'ai Dao were even more panicked, and the core members of the organization scattered all over the place were once again in a state of panic. The other 3 teams that came from the law enforcement hall of the Wu'ai Dao headquarters also had the idea of retreating. They had already hidden themselves, not even daring to show their heads, and sent a message to the headquarters, hoping that the law enforcement hall would send more support. Chapter 940. Isn't this a coincidence? At this moment, Qin Yu was sitting cross-legged in a room, watching the image on the screen opposite. After a while, he turned off the screen, frowned and thought for a while. Qin Yu picked up the jade talisman and sent a message to Su Fan. "Dao, congratulations on your successful elimination of the base of the Wu'ai Dao in Xiangfang Valley." After a while, Su Fan replied to a message, but only one word. "Well, Dao, don't worry. I will continue to send people to find out the information of the Wu'ai Dao for you, then thank you for your hard work." Seeing the message that had just been sent, for some reason, he felt a hint of coldness from Su Fan between the lines. Qin Yu felt a little alert in his heart, but he couldn't understand why this guy was like this. "Dao, don't worry, I will strive for more resources from the organization and find the traces of other Kankyoji monks as soon as possible." Well, I know. Now Qin Yu has confirmed his thoughts. Su Fan must be dissatisfied with the Ruai Pavilion. But he racked his brains and couldn't write down why this guy was dissatisfied. Suddenly, Qin Yu slapped his forehead, and he finally knew the reason. Those cultivators from the Kankyu realm wanted to cross the domain to Wu'ai Ocean, and the top leaders of the Wu'ai Dao had to report to the group of fusion realm masters in the Jiaoxu realm. The reason why Su Fan was able to get the information about the cultivators from the Kankyu realm first must be that he was told by a fusion realm master. Of course, the top leaders of the Ruai Pavilion would also know, but Su Fan was just a silver customer and did not have some authority. The top leaders of the Ruai Pavilion would certainly not pay attention to a silver customer. Thinking of this, Qin Yu felt a sense of urgency in his heart. There are too many organizations like the Ruai Pavilion in the world of cultivation. Su Fan is his most important customer. If he is poached by other organizations, he will not know where to cry. This is also his own fault. He should have reported this matter long ago to obtain more resources for Su Fan. Qin Yu quickly passed the images of Xiangfang Valley and all the information about Su Fan to a certain senior executive of the organization. It is indeed a bit of a waste of talent for a monster like Su Fan to stay in a low-end world like Jiaoxuji. Qin Yu has dealt with many clients, but none of them can be like Su Fan, who not only brings him a huge amount of benefits, but also improves his status in the organization. How could he let Su Fan, a big client, go? Anyway, he must keep this guy no matter what. In the early morning, a brilliant light rose from the distant skyline, revealing a large area of fish belly white, and the whole earth was awakened from its slumber. Burial Demon Mountain Range, Kingain Village. Su Fan walked out of the teleportation hall. At this time, his appearance and aura had completely changed into another person. He walked around the streets of Kingain Village and came to a courtyard in an alley. Su Fan did not stop, but walked past the door of the courtyard calmly, and frowned when he came out of the alley. He has been to several places in succession, all of which are where the core members of Wuidao are. But all these places were deserted. It seemed that these guys had all hidden away, fearing that he would come to them. Especially since he had just destroyed Xiangfeng Valley and killed dozens of cultivators from the Kanqiu realm who were in the refining void realm. The people of the Wuidao were probably already scared out of their wits. Su Fan sighed. What he was most reluctant to deal with was an underground organization like the Wuidao. Without the support of intelligence, he couldn't even find the people. Although Kinyu of the Ruai Pavilion was very active during this period, he spared no effort. But the people of the Wuidao seemed to have disappeared all of a sudden. Now he was quite frustrated. Even if he wanted to take revenge, he didn't know where to go. Su Fan walked into a restaurant on the street with a gloomy face, and asked for some simple spiritual food on the hall to eat. It was morning time, and the hall was almost full, and it seemed noisy. While eating, Su Fan listened to the chats of the cultivators in the hall, hoping to get some useful information. But after listening for a long time, although the content of the cultivators' conversations here was almost all about him and the Black Clothes Dao, there was no valuable information. I heard that many people from the Black Clothes Dao were killed by that big devil. That's right, it is said that 3 big men in the half-step fusion realm and dozens of old monsters in the refining realm all died in his hands. It's impossible. How could he deal with so many high-level old monsters alone? I don't know whether this is true or not. I just know that the Burial Monster Mountain Range has been much quieter recently, and even the abandoned cultivators have disappeared. You know what? I have been escorting goods back and forth to various places in the Burial Monster Mountain Range for more than a year, and nothing has happened. It is said that all the people from the Black Clothes Dao have hidden themselves, for fear of being found by the Big Devil. Now that the Big Devil has gone crazy, let alone the Black Clothes Dao, those abandoned cultivators don't even dare to show their heads. After listening to the conversations of the casual cultivators in the restaurant lobby for a while, Su Fan left after finishing his meal. He walked around the streets of Kingain Village, thinking about how to find the people of Wuidao. At this time, the jade talisman on his waist vibrated slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and took a look. He found that it was a message from Kinyu of Ruai Pavilion. Dao, I just received information that people from Wuidao were found near Kingain Village. Looking at the message sent by Kinyu, Su Fan showed a smile on his face. Isn't this a coincidence? Send me the location. After replying a message, he received the location of the base sent by Kinyu. Su Fan picked up the jade talisman, took a look, put it away, and then walked out of the city. This base was provided by the information provided by a downline of a peripheral member of Wuidao that Kinyu had just activated. Unfortunately, this base is hidden by peripheral members of Wuidao, and there are no core members. Okay, peripheral members are fine, it's better than a wasted trip. He has been tossing around several places these days, but he didn't catch a hare. Now that we have finally found a nest, what else do we need? Su Fan came to a market outside the city and walked in expressionlessly. It was already morning, and the streets of the market were full of monks, very lively. Su Fan came to a shop in the market, looked up at the shop's sign, and then looked around. He had sensed the situation inside the shop and discovered several powerful auras in the backyard, with only a few divine transformation realm monks inside. Su Fan took out a jade talisman from his ring and crushed it with a snap. An aura shield instantly enveloped the shop. Chapter 941, Killing Without Blinking an Eye. At this time, the market was the busiest, and Su Fan's behavior immediately attracted the attention of many cultivators. Although he had recovered the spirit transformation realm, there were always some brave people who came over and carefully stood on both sides of the street to watch the excitement. Fellow Taoist He Fang, take action in my Jinghu Fang. At this time, a spirit transformation realm cultivator soared into the sky from the depths of the market, suspended in the air, and said to Su Fan in a deep voice. Then, several more spirit transformation realm cultivators rushed from all over and suspended in the air, faintly surrounding Su Fan. Su Fan looked around and laughed. If this was a gathering place for abandoned cultivators and evil cultivators, he might have rushed in without even saying hello. But Kingain Village was the territory of the Loose Cultivator Alliance after all, and its reputation was not very good to begin with, so he couldn't do too much. I am Su Fan. Today I will only kill the people of the Wuidao, and those who are not related should retreat. Wow, after hearing Su Fan's words, the whole market was in an uproar, and everyone was stunned. Oh my god, run away, no one knows who suddenly shouted loudly, and the whole market was in chaos. The monks who were originally gathered on both sides of the street to watch the excitement began to flee without thinking, and they ran madly outside the market. Everyone even ignored the no-fly rule in the market, and drove their magic weapons away, and even used the escape technique to disappear on the spot. In just a moment, the whole market became empty. Seeing such a scene, Su Fan was also confused. Am I so scary? Su Fan sighed secretly, and his label of a big devil could not be washed away. The faces of the several cultivators in the God Transformation realm, floating in the air, were pale at this moment. Why did this big devil come here? It was a lie for several cultivators in the God Transformation realm to say that they were not afraid. This guy had just destroyed Xianfeng Valley, and hundreds of thousands of cultivators died in his hands. With Su Fan's current fierce power, anyone who saw this big devil would be scared to death by him. This guy is so cruel, he kills without blinking an eye. In recent years alone, the number of bandit cultivators and evil cultivators who died in the entire Burial Demon Mountain range is as high as 1.8 million. Fortunately, Su Fan did not argue with them, but just nodded to them. There are people from the Black Clothes Dao hiding here. I will leave after I finish my business, Su Fan said, and walked directly into the shop without paying any attention to those people. At this moment, a group of cultivators trapped in the formation were attacking the formation frantically, and they stopped attacking when they saw Su Fan walking in, all looking at him with despair on their faces. These people were originally a group of brutal bandit cultivators, and they knew that they could not escape death today, so they aroused their violent and ferocious nature. Damn! Kill him, don't be afraid, attack together, kill him, a group of bandit cultivators screamed at the top of their lungs, trying to give themselves courage, and then they started to attack. Although these people were courageous, they were facing Su Fan. Su Fan sneered, his eyes fixed, and a strange vertical eye suddenly appeared on his forehead. The dark green eyeballs rolled around, revealing a gloomy and strange aura. A tide of evil power suddenly swept out, and the noisy roars stopped in an instant. The gang of bandits who rushed towards Su Fan also seemed to be cast with a spell of immobilization, and all of them were stagnant there. Su Fan waved his hand, and dozens of bandits disappeared from the spot in an instant, and were all sent into the oil lamp magic weapon in the Juan's secret realm. Senior, take out their souls from me, and help me interrogate them one by one. I want confessions, don't worry, leave it to me. After listening to the words of the evil Buddha Wangda, Su Fan continued to walk deeper into the store with an expressionless face. He found the entrance to a secret realm in the backyard of the store, and caught more than 100 bandits hiding in it, and even took away the secret realm. Su Fan searched the shop again until he found nothing missing. He then removed the formation and walked out of the shop. As soon as he walked out of the shop, he saw more than a dozen Void Refining Realm cultivators standing on the street outside. It seems that his appearance in this market has blown out a bunch of Void Refining Realm bosses in Kingain Village. Su Fan took a few steps and bowed to more than a dozen Void Refining Realm monsters. Junior Su Fan pays homage to all the heavenly honored. In fact, facing more than a dozen Void Refining Realm monsters, Su Fan's behavior seemed a bit impolite. After all, there is a realm difference between the two sides. As a spiritual transformation realm, he should at least have some minimum respect. The hierarchy in the world of cultivation is extremely strict, especially high-level cultivators are very concerned about etiquette. Of course, it depends on who you are dealing with, and Su Fan is definitely an exception. After hearing what Su Fan said, these more than a dozen Void Refining Realm monsters were not angry, but felt that Su Fan should do so. What a joke. Dozens of cultivators in the refining void realm of the Kankyu realm were killed by this kid. Even 3 big guys in the half-step fusion realm could not escape his murderous hands. The strength of these old monsters in the refining void realm of the Loose Cultivator Alliance is definitely far inferior to those cultivators of the same level in the Kankyu realm. This kid can bow his hands and call them seniors, which is already a great honor for them. The old monster in the late refining void realm, who is the leader, laughed. Can't you say hello before you come? You see how scared those kids are? Su Fan bowed his hands again and said, Junior came in a hurry, and was afraid that the news would leak out, so I had to do this. I hope you will forgive me. The old monster in the late refining void realm waved his hands and smiled. It's okay, you can do whatever you need to do when you come to us, just don't hurt the people in the city by mistake. People have said this, what else can Su Fan say? If someone else dared to act wildly in the loose cultivator alliance like him, these old guys would have to fight him to the death. Don't worry, Senior. I'll leave now, don't be in a hurry to leave. I have a bottle of spiritual wine. Let's have a drink at noon. Forget it, you old bastards are now eager for me to get out of here. Senior, I can only appreciate your kindness. I have something else to do, so I won't bother you anymore. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely accompany you to get drunk. After Su Fan finished speaking, he bowed to more than 10 old monsters in the refining void realm, then turned and left. Seeing Su Fan leave the market, these old guys all breathed a sigh of relief. This kid is finally gone. If Su Fan doesn't leave, Kingain Village will be completely in chaos. This kid is too murderous. It is said that he didn't leave a single one of the hundreds of thousands of cultivators in Xianfeng Valley alive. Although the dead were all abandoned cultivators and evil cultivators, his methods were still too cruel. I was drunk last night, so I just finished one chapter this morning. Please forgive me. Chapter 942. Am I that scary? When the news of Su Fan's appearance in Kingain Village spread, the village was in chaos, and the scattered cultivators began to flee. In fact, although he was extremely cruel when dealing with those abandoned cultivators and evil cultivators, he never killed innocent people in the scattered cultivator alliance. But the people of Kingain Village did not dare to gamble. What if this big devil was so angry that he killed everyone in the village? Then they would die unjustly. Anyway, no matter what, it's better to hide away for a few days. At night, the originally noisy and lively village became deserted, and there was not even a person on the street. The huge Kingain Village was like a dead city at this time. Of course, these things had nothing to do with Su Fan. He changed his new identity after leaving Kingain Village, and settled down in a small market not far away. When Su Fan walked into the market, he was stunned. Because the market was deserted, there were almost no people on the street, and even most of the shops on both sides of the street were closed. Su Fan frowned and walked into an inn. He asked for a guest room and asked why. The result made him laugh and cry. It turned out that the scattered cultivators in the market heard that he came to Kingain Village, and all the scattered cultivators in the villages and markets within a radius of thousands of miles fled the area. Am I that scary? He walked into the guest room and set up a formation ban, and then entered the Juan's secret realm. Su Fan came to a stone platform deep in the secret realm and sat cross-legged next to the oil lamp magic weapon. At this time, Yaksha turned into a ball of black ghost smoke and floated over from a distance. He condensed a ghost body in front of him and worshipped him vigorously. Yaksha, pay homage to my master. Su Fan waved his hand at him and said, have you interrogated all the people I sent in? The seniors are interrogating them. Let me ask for you. After the Yaksha finished speaking, he turned into a ball of black ghost smoke and drilled into the oil lamp magic weapon. After a while, Yaksha came out of the oil lamp magic weapon. Master, there are too many people. The senior is busy. He asked you to go in. Forget it, I won't go in. This old man is too perverted. Even he can't stand the means of harming people. I won't go. Let him toss in there alone. Yaksha hurriedly took out a red clay stove and tea sets, and helped Su Fan brew a pot of spiritual tea. He poured a cup for him, and then stood behind Su Fan respectfully. At this time, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on Su Fan's waist vibrated slightly. He picked it up and found that Qin Yu had sent a message. Dao, I just received information that several secret bases of Wuai Dao have been discovered. Qin Yu has been very active during this period. He sent a lot of messages almost every day, and even if there was no information, he would chat with him for a few words. Thank you for your hard work. Send me the locations of those places. Fellow Taoist, I have reported your situation to the top management of the organization and applied for the privileges of a gold customer for you. Seeing the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan somewhat understood why he was so attentive recently. It must be said that this guy's mind is quite sensitive. What privileges do gold customers have? If fellow Taoist becomes a gold customer of our Ruai Pavilion, you will be able to enjoy the highest service of our organization and share all our resources. such as the services of several high-level people in the fusion realm of the organization. Seeing this message, Su Fan smiled. It seems that his guess was right. Qin Yu now obviously has a sense of urgency. He is probably afraid that he will be alienated from him in the future, or even reduce the transactions between him and Ruai Pavilion. That can only mean one thing. In this world of cultivation, there is definitely more than one organization like Ruai Pavilion. Find a chance to find out later. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. The two chatted for a few more words, and Su Fan put away the Jade Talisman. Although the secret bases of the Wu Yudao sent by Qin Yu were all hiding some peripheral gangs, it was better than not finding anyone. Boy, when did you come back? At this time, the evil Buddha Wangda appeared in the lamp holder of the oil lamp magic weapon. The old man was full of excitement, probably because he had just caused a lot of trouble to the bandits of the Wu Yudao. I just came back too. How was the interrogation? These guys are all members of the peripheral of the Wu Yudao. They don't know much about the core secrets, but they got the locations of several secret bases. Su Fan sighed. It seems that the core members of the Wu Yudao must be lost. Okay, then let's sweep their periphery first. I don't believe it. I have wiped out all your peripheral gangs, and you still pretend to be dead and don't show up. In the next few days, Su Fan began to run around the Barademon Mountains, madly slaughtering the peripheral gangs of the Wu Yudao. He was already crazy and slaughtered dozens of peripheral gangs of the Wu Yudao. Not only that, Su Fan also found several core members of the Wu Yudao and got the location of other core members by following some clues. In the Burial Demon Mountain range today, not only the people of the Wu Yudao are in a state of panic, but also countless independent cultivators from several independent cultivator alliances are trembling with fear. Because Su Fan is too cruel. Now he has almost swept the outer gangs of the Wu Yudao in the entire Burial Demon Mountain range by himself. Who would have thought that the Wu Yudao that has always been arrogant and domineering on weekdays would be bullied to this extent one day? The Wu Yudao has been forced into this state, and they dare not even fart. And they all hid like rats in the gutter, and they didn't even dare to show their faces. This also made Su Fan's reputation more and more fierce. At noon, Su Fan walked into a market. He found a restaurant on the street and ordered some food for lunch. Not long after he sat down, the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan took off the Jade Talisman from his waist and glanced at the message sent by Qin Yu. Devours, I just received the latest information. Those cultivators from the Kankyu realm sent by the Wu Yudao headquarters have left Wu Ocean yesterday. What the hell? Why did these guys run away? He has been looking for their traces for a while, but unfortunately, these guys hid too deep and he couldn't find any trace of them. Damn, you guys ran fast. Those people from the Kankyu realm are gone. Did the Wu Yudao headquarters send other people to support them? At least I haven't heard of it yet. And there is no sign of this. Seeing the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan couldn't help but frown. He didn't understand what the Wu Yudao was going to do. Are they going to hold back another big move? Chapter 943, No way, they gave too much? Don't worry, I will arrange someone to keep an eye on the Wu Yudao. Qin Yu's current attitude is indeed beyond words. Su Fan has always been a soft-hearted person. If others respect him, he will definitely return the favor. Thank you for your hard work. Keep a close eye on them for me. Su Fan and Qin Yu chatted for a few more words, and then he put away the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion. At this time, the Jade Talisman of Huangquan Tower on his waist also began to vibrate slightly. He took the Jade Talisman off his waist and took a look, and found that it was a message from Zhu Ming. Zigu, you have been very popular recently. The Wu Yudao has been forced by you to not even dare to show its head. The intelligence of Huangquan Tower is indeed not comparable to that of Ruai Pavilion, especially after the Wu Yudao began to shrink. It has almost no decent intelligence. Zhu Ming has not contacted him for a long time. He came up to him and told him all this today. He must have something to do with him. Old Zhu, if you have something to say, just say it. We don't have to be like this. The senior executives of our Huangquan Tower organization asked me to bring you a message. Seeing Zhu Ming's message, Su Fan frowned immediately. Why did those old guys from Huangquan Tower come to him? Old Zhu, just say it. Some time ago, the senior executives of Wangchuan Hall asked someone to pass on a message to the organization, wanting to cancel your reward bonus. What the hell? Wangchuan Tower is not scared. I haven't even bothered to find trouble with him yet. You said to release the bonus, and now you want to cancel it. What a beautiful thing. After he has revenged Wu Yidao, it will be the turn of Wang Chuanhao. If they want to cancel it, they can cancel it. It's none of my business. Zigu, do you know how much impact it will have on them if Wang Chuanhao cancels the reward bonus issued? This guy must have received benefits from others. Why is he turning his elbow outward? How should I know? It has nothing to do with me anyway. You. Let me be frank. Wang Chuan Palace wants to make peace with you. What the hell? They sent so many people to hunt me down and even issued a bounty for me. Now they want to make peace with me. Why the hell did that earlier? This matter is not over yet. No matter how I persuade them, it will not work. I will not stop until I tear the Wang Chuan Palace apart. Then tell Wang Chuan Palace that I will go find them. After Su Fan sent this message, it took a long time before Zhu Ming replied with a message. Zigu, it is better to resolve a feud than to make one. Since Wang Chuan Palace has expressed its willingness to reconcile, you should stop worrying about it. It was not me who provoked them, but the assassin sent by the Wang Chuan Palace to kill him. Anyway, he is just a lonely ghost, and I can't outlast them. Zhu Ming, I'll say it again, you go tell the people of Wang Chuan Palace that since they dare to provoke me, it's a fight to the death. Zigu, Wang Chuan Palace is willing to make some compensation for you. Compensation? You want to get rid of me just by giving me a little compensation? What are you thinking? Besides, this is a matter of principle. Can it be solved with a few dollars? Thinking of this, Su Fan was about to refuse righteously, when Zhu Ming sent him another message. Looking at the message from Zhu Ming, he was stunned. This time, old Zhu sent the price of compensation from Wang Chuan Palace to him, a full 20,000 spiritual jades. Funny, just 20,000 spiritual jades, and he wanted to settle this matter. Well, it's not impossible. 20,000 spiritual jades are not a small amount. What else do you want? But he just said too much, and he couldn't change his words immediately, and he really couldn't do such a shameless thing. Suddenly, he had an idea in his mind. Old Zhu, what does the high-ranking officials in the organization mean? What else can it mean? Of course, they hope that you and the Wang Chuan Palace can make peace, Alice. Since I joined the Wang Chuan Palace, I have never made any contribution to the organization. So let's leave it at that. After Su Fan sent this message, he felt a little ashamed. But there was no way. They gave too much? Zigu, that's right. I will report to the high-ranking officials of the organization. Su Fan smiled bitterly, and then put away the jade talisman of the Huangquan Tower. Well, since the Wang Chuan Palace has shown their sincerity, why not agree to it? Su Fan has offended many people, and since he can solve a problem so smoothly, why not do it? In fact, it is mainly because of these 20,000 spiritual jades. There is no way. Su Fan is so obsessed with money, so many spiritual jades, no matter how big the hatred between the two sides is, he can forget it immediately. And he is really poor now. He is so poor that he can hardly eat. Su Fan put away the jade talisman of the Huangquan Tower, and then picked up the chopsticks to prepare for dinner. At this moment, he suddenly raised his head and found that an old man had sat opposite him. The old man was wearing a gray robe, gray hair, and a purple wood hairpin on his head. He looked very energetic, and his eyes were also bright. Looking at the old man opposite, Su Fan's eyes could not help but condense. He could not sense the other party's breath. Now the only person who could make him unable to sense the breath was a big man in the fusion realm. Su Fan was about to stand up, but the old man opposite waved his hand and smiled. Sit down, there is no need for those red tape here. After hearing the old man's words, Su Fan could only sit back, but he didn't dare to be too casual. He sat there straight with his body straight. Although the other party was very likely a big man in the fusion realm, Su Fan was not too worried about this. What he couldn't understand the most now was how this big man found him. You must be Su Fan. Hearing the other party's words, Su Fan nodded respectfully. I am Su Fan, and I am here to meet you, senior. The old man smiled and said, if it weren't for the jade talisman that Taoist brother Luo Bin gave you, it would be really difficult to find you. Su Fan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard the old man say this. It turned out that it was the jade talisman that the ancestor of Luo Zuan's family gave him, which made it easy for the other party to find his trace. That's alright. Since the ancestor of Luo Zuan's family could give him this jade talisman that could conceal the secrets of heaven, it would be impossible for him to harm him. I don't know what you want from me, senior. The old man smiled and then looked at Su Fan. It's nothing, I just want to pass on a message to someone. I owed him a favor back then. And this time I came here just to repay the favor. Hearing the big man say this, Su Fan immediately guessed the other party's intention. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 944. When will the cycle of revenge end? The old man sitting opposite Su Fan is the most powerful fusion master in this world. He is definitely giving him enough face for coming to talk to you in person. Su Fan thought for a while and said with a smile, Senior, if you have any questions, please tell me. You still remember the Feng family? After hearing the other party's words, Su Fan's face changed immediately. If it was the Wangchuan Palace, he could let it go. After all, this organization has no personal grudge against him. What they do is to kill people. Moreover, the Wangchuan Palace also showed the greatest sincerity. 20,000 spiritual jades are enough for Su Fan to let go of the grudge. But the Feng family is different. He has been wandering around and avoiding being hunted down all these years, all thanks to Feng Qingshu. The root of all this is because of the Feng family. He can make peace with the Wangchuan Palace, but the Feng family absolutely cannot. Seeing that Su Fan's face was a little bad, the old man sitting opposite smiled. I am just here to bring a message. As for how you decide, you can make your own decision. He said this, then took out a ring and placed it in front of Su Fan. This is a little gift from the Feng family. Take a look. He didn't even look at the ring in front of Su Fan. What good things were he thinking about? If it weren't for a Feng Qingshu, there wouldn't be those bad things later. Although Feng Qingshu and his brother had been killed by him, he also dug up the main spiritual vein of the Feng family's sphere of influence. But even so, it was difficult to relieve his hatred. Seeing that Su Fan didn't pay attention to the ring, the old man laughed. Boy, enough people in the Feng family have died. Now even the main spiritual vein of the family's territory has been dug by you. What else do you want? Forgive others when you can. It was indeed as the other party said. The Feng family had paid a huge price for provoking him. If it were before, they would still have a trace of revenge on Su Fan. But since Su Fan broke through the realm of transformation and killed many cultivators of the Wu Yi Dao in the realm of refining emptiness, and even half-step fusion realm masters, the senior officials of the Feng family knew that no matter what the cost, they had to try their best to resolve the hatred with Su Fan. With the temperament of that little devil, he would sooner or later take crazy revenge on the Feng family. Even the mysterious organization Wu Yi Dao was killed by that kid without even showing his head. It is said that dozens of elite cultivators from the Kangqiu realm were found from the headquarters outside the domain, but most of them were killed by this kid, and the rest fled back in disgrace. The Feng family is big and powerful, and it can't be compared with the underground organization like Wu Yi Dao. If this kid is thinking about it, the future will be difficult. Although the ancestor of the Feng family is a fusion realm master, Su Fan is a demon with a demon seed. Who knows which boss in the upper realm of the demon gate sowed the seeds? It can be said that even if the ancestor of the Feng family gave up everything for the family, the many combined realm masters of Jiaoxu realm would not let him take action. Jiaoxu realm is just a low-end world and cannot bear the anger of the master of the upper realm of the demon sect if he really encounters a cruel and violent monster of the demon sect. It is possible that he will destroy the entire Jiaoxu realm in anger. Hearing the master opposite say this, Su Fan couldn't help but take a deep breath. Although the other party did not mean to force him, after all, the other party's status is there, and the face that should be given must be given. Thinking of this, Su Fan picked up the ring in front of him, his eyes condensed, and his consciousness swept over the ring. Seeing the things in the ring, Su Fan couldn't help but be stunned. It has to be said that in order to resolve this feud with him, the Feng family has definitely given everything they have. It's not to say that the family is bankrupt, but it is definitely broken. The assassin organization Wangchuan Palace was so big that they only gave him 20,000 spiritual jades. After all, organizations that trade in human lives are not short of money and have very strong financial resources. But the Feng family is just a cultivation family, and they actually sold everything they had to collect 10,000 spiritual jades. Compared with the Wangchuan Palace, the Feng family's sincerity is even greater. It can be seen that in order to resolve this hatred with him, the Feng family also fought hard. Although Su Fan almost hated the Feng family, when he saw the 10,000 spiritual jades in the ring, he felt that his hatred was diluted a lot. When will the revenge end? There is no such thing as hatred that cannot be resolved. As for those that cannot be resolved, it only means that the money given is not enough. Of course, this may also be a delaying tactic of the Feng family. Senior, if the Feng family is still determined to harm me, how can you let me trust them? The old man sitting opposite laughed. In order to put your mind at ease, the ancestor of the Feng family has found several old men in the fusion realm to act as guarantors, including me. He has used up all the favors of more than 10,000 years in one day. After hearing what the old man said, Su Fan nodded. Since there are 5 big men in the fusion realm to act as guarantors, there will be no problem. The ancestor of the Feng family will swear an oath in front of the 5 big men in the fusion realm who participated in the guarantor. In this case, I will agree to this matter. Seeing that Su Fan agreed to this matter, the old man was obviously relieved. In a few days, I will gather with several other old men in the fusion realm and make a special trip to the Huangquan Tower to meet with fellow Taoist Zhuanghu to discuss the guarantee. In order to completely solve this problem, the Feng family has tried their best. Asking 5 big men in the fusion realm to act as guarantors for both parties is not a trivial matter, and it may even cause a sensation in the entire Jiaoxia world. The Feng family must have to pay an unimaginable price for this. But for the long-term development of the family, it is absolutely beneficial. It is normal for a cultivation family to decline for several generations, or even more than 10 generations. As long as the family is self-reliant and develops silently for hundreds or thousands of years, it will be no problem to return to the peak period of the family. But to achieve this, there must be a prerequisite, that is, the family needs a stable development environment. The Feng family has already begun to decline, and it has offended Su Fan, the cruel big devil. Let alone development. It is still uncertain whether the family can exist in the future. Okay, let the Feng family go. Anyway, the people who should be killed have been killed long ago, and the Feng family's territory has been severely damaged. From now on, it is estimated that the status of the Feng family will plummet, and it will not even be ranked among the middle-sized families. But if this huge hidden danger is not completely solved, it is still uncertain whether the Feng family will exist in the future. In this case, then trouble the senior. The old man smiled and nodded, then stood up. Then I'll leave, you eat slowly. Looking at the back of the big man in the fusion realm, Su Fan picked up the ring in front of him, played with it in his hands for a few times, and then put it in his arms. Unexpectedly, in just such a short time, 2 grudges were resolved. This is good. If he can solve the Wu Ai Dao, he can find a place to stay quietly. By the way, the compensation given to him by Wangchuan Palace and the Feng family is as much as 30,000 Lingyu. After paying back the famine of Ruai Pavilion, he can cross the domain to Guchen realm to reunite with his family. Now he can't remember how long he hasn't seen his family, and he doesn't know how his children are doing now. Thinking of this, Su Fan suddenly became excited. Maybe it's because his realm is getting higher and higher. He feels that his longing for his family is far less intense than before. I have heard people say before that as the realm of the cultivator continues to improve, the human smell on his body will become weaker and weaker. Chapter 945, This is a good deal. Su Fan sighed again. Although other cultivators become less and less human as they grow older, he doesn't want to be like that. Cultivating immortals is all about being free and easy. If you turn yourself into a cultivation machine for the sake of immortality, what does it matter if you live longer? If that's the case, what's the difference between him and the NPC in the game? No matter what other cultivators in this world of cultivation are like, even if he cultivates to the top of the human race in the future, he must make his life enjoyable. While Su Fan was thinking about it, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist suddenly vibrated slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and took a look at the message sent by Qin Yu. Congratulations, fellow Taoist, from today on, you are the gold medal customer of our Ruai Pavilion. That's about right. Although he is only a cultivator in the realm of transformation, in terms of influence, in the entire Jiaoxia world, except for those masters in the realm of fusion, there should be no one who can compare with him. He knew in his heart that Qin Yu must have been busy for this matter. It must be said that this guy is really smart and sensitive. He was able to sense his dissatisfaction with Ruai Pavilion just by reading the words between the lines of his message. In his previous life, he would definitely be a sales genius. By the way, How many lingai do I owe you, Ruai Pavilion now, Dao? You are already our gold medal customer. As long as it does not exceed 100,000 lingai, you can use it at any time." Seeing the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan couldn't help but be amazed. He didn't expect that the gold medal customer of Ruai Pavilion would be so awesome. How could Su Fan know that those who can become the gold medal customers of Ruai Pavilion must at least be the super large combined realm bosses of the Jiaoxu realm? Since he already has such a great authority, he will owe the 10,000 lingai for now. Not only do he have to owe these lingai, he also wants to owe more money in the future. The one who owes money is the boss. By the way, if I want to go to the Guchen realm to reunite with my family, how many lingai do I need? Our Ruai Pavilion gold medal customers, if you want to go to the Guchen realm, you can enjoy a free benefit, but this free benefit must be arranged in a unified manner, and the nearest opportunity may have to wait for more than 10 years. Fuck. There's such a good thing. It must be free. This kind of benefit is not to be taken. It's only more than 10 years, which seems to be a long time, but it's not a big deal for a cultivator. And even if Su Fan wants to leave the Jiaoxu realm, he must settle the grievances with the Wu Dao before he can leave. If he doesn't get rid of this bad breath, his Tao heart will definitely be flawed. Unless the Wu Dao completely admits defeat and compensates himself with tens of thousands of lingai, or it can only be a fight to the death. Thinking of this, Su Fan couldn't help but smile. He suddenly felt that the Wu Dao might really do this. After all, the Kankoji monks who came to support from the headquarters law enforcement hall all left in disgrace. Wu Dao is such a large organization, it can't always hide like a rat in the sewer. In this case, he might as well add fuel to the fire. After Su Fan finished his meal, he left the restaurant and found an inn in the market to settle down. He has been a little crazy about killing recently, constantly running around, and he is already a little exhausted. Su Fan wants to rest here for 2 days to recuperate, and then continue to find trouble for the Wu Dao in various places in the Burial Monster Mountains. He came to the guest room and entered the portable secret realm, and then sat cross-legged by the pool. Next, Su Fan contacted Qin Yu of Ruai Pavilion and Zooming of Huangquan Tower one after another, asking them to increase their efforts to collect various intelligence on the Wu Dao. After tossing with the Wu Dao for so long, even he was a little exhausted physically and mentally. There's no way, the Wu Dao is an extremely secretive underground organization. Even with the intelligence support from Ruai Pavilion and Huangquan Tower, he still had to run around in the Burial Demon Mountains. In order to find this gang of guys, he had been tormented enough in the past few months. If Wu Dao could really buy peace with money, Su Fan would not mind letting them go. He really didn't want to toss around anymore. Wouldn't it be better to find a place with beautiful scenery and stay comfortably? By the way, there is also the Celestial Clan, which is also a big trouble. With the narcissistic temperament of the Celestial Clan, they will never reconcile with him. So after he solves the Wu Dao, he will go to the Celestial Clan's territory to make trouble. Anyway, they are few in number and can't withstand his tossing. A narcissistic race like the Celestial Clan will not compromise with him unless they are beaten to pulp. Anyway, I am just a lonely ghost. Let's see who can outlast whom. At worst, Su Fan would leave Jiaoxu realm in a dozen years. He could leave secretly, so that the guys of the Xianren clan would never find him and they would never be able to sleep peacefully in the future. 2 days later, Su Fan set out on his journey again. This time, he also increased the intensity of his revenge, and he was like crazy chasing the people of Wu Dao everywhere in the Burial Demon Mountains. In just a few months, tens of thousands of members of the Wu Dao periphery died in his hands. Even the core members who were hiding tightly were killed by him by dozens. Moreover, every time Su Fan arrived at a place, he would deliberately make a shocking noise, so that everyone in the whole Wu Ocean knew about it. Now not only the Wu Dao was confused, but even the cultivators of the whole Wu Ocean thought he was crazy. Everyone was wondering, did this big devil take aphrodisiacs? Looking at his posture, he would never give up until he killed all the Wu Dao. Although the Wu Dao organization is full of evil deeds and has a bad reputation in Jiaoxu world, everyone can't help but sympathize with them now. Who would have thought that the arrogant and vindictive Wu Dao in the past would be killed so miserably by one person? In the current Burial Demon Mountain range, not only the Wu Dao is in a panic, but even the monks of several large loose cultivator alliances are trembling with fear, fearing that innocent people will be affected. At noon that day, Su Fan came to a market in the west of the Burial Demon Mountain Range. During this period of time, he was like crazy and tossed around for several months, and even he couldn't stand it. So he came to this market and wanted to have a good rest here. Su Fan found an inn in the market. He asked for a room upstairs, and then came to the guest room under the guidance of the shop assistant. The innkeeper led him to the door of the guest room and saluted respectfully and left. Su Fan glanced at the innkeeper, and then wanted to push the door to enter the guest room. But as soon as he put his hand on the door handle, his scalp suddenly exploded, and he felt a chill rushing from his tailbone to the back of his head. Chapter 946 What Can't Be Discussed? At this moment, Su Fan's heart sank to the bottom of the valley. After all, there was a big man in the fusion realm sitting in the room. It was impossible for him to say that he was not afraid. He didn't even have the thought of running away. He was a small cultivator in the God transformation realm. Everything was in vain in front of the big man in the fusion realm. Although he knew that the big man in the fusion realm would not attack him, he didn't dare to gamble at this time. If he met a tiger who didn't know his depth, he would die unjustly. Just when Su Fan was terrified, a voice came from the room. Come in, what are you dawdling outside? It was not until he heard the other party's voice that Su Fan breathed a sigh of relief. It was too scary. He took a deep breath and calmed himself as much as possible, then he pushed the door and walked into the guest room. When Su Fan entered the guest room, he saw the ancestor of Luo Zuan's family, sitting cross-legged in the hall waiting for him. He hurriedly stepped forward and bowed to the other party. Junior pays homage to the god. The ancestor of the Luo family laughed and waved at him. Sit down. Su Fan sat cross-legged in front of the Luo family patriarch, and then summoned Sister Zhen. Sister Zhen had just come out of the portable secret realm and saw the Luo family patriarch. She was so scared that her ghostly shadow almost collapsed. The strong pressure of the level almost made her unable to raise her head. Fortunately, the Luo family patriarch restrained his breath, which allowed Sister Zhen, a little ghost cultivator, to get rid of the heavy pressure. The girl trembled and took out the red clay stove and tea sets, and took out the spiritual tea that she had treasured for a long time, and respectfully brewed a pot of spiritual tea for the two. Sister Zhen poured 2 cups of spiritual tea, and then trembled and placed them in front of the two. The Luo family patriarch glanced at Su Fan, then took out a stored ring and handed it to Sister Zhen. This is a little thing I got from a ghost cultivator before, take it and play with it. Sister Zhen was stunned, and suddenly felt flattered. She knelt there and stared at the stored ring in the Luo family patriarch's hand, and then turned her head to look at the owner. The elders have given me this gift, so I can't refuse it. You should keep it. After hearing Su Fan's words, Sister Zhen accepted the ring, and then knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the Luo family ancestor respectfully. Su Fan covered his face, and the girl was so nervous that she couldn't even speak. He summoned Sister Zhen out, intending to let her see the world, but who knew that this dead girl didn't make him look good at all. He waved his hand and drove Sister Zhen back to the portable secret realm, and then looked at the Luo family ancestor with an apologetic face. I, a ghost slave, have never seen much of the world, and I'm sorry to make you laugh. The Luo family ancestor chuckled and said, although the girl's aptitude is a little poor, she has no distractions, and the most rare thing is that she has a sincere heart. These old guys in the fusion realm are all old foxes. Look at what they said. In Su Fan's view, having no distractions and a sincere heart is actually a lack of mind. How could he know that the Luo family ancestor had already seen that Su Fan was nostalgic from this detail? If it were a different master, a ghost cultivator with such poor aptitude like Sister Zhen would have been used as cannon fodder and his soul would have been scattered long ago, not to mention becoming a ghost king. But Su Fan was already a cultivator in the spirit transformation realm, but he still treated her as his most intimate ghost slave, which was very telling. In this world of cultivation, cultivators who are nostalgic are definitely rare. At this time, Su Fan was thinking about the purpose of the Luo family ancestor's visit. He didn't believe that an ancestor in the fusion realm came to him on purpose just to chat with him. However, his intuition told him that the purpose of this old guy's visit today was most likely related to the Black Clothes Dao. Of course, Su Fan was stupid enough to ask directly, so he chatted with a Luo family ancestor about family matters. The two chatted for a few words, and the Luo family ancestor took a sip of the teacup, then looked at Su Fan with a smile. I came here today to tell you something, here it comes. The old guy finally told the purpose of this trip. Su Fan picked up the teapot and refilled the Luo family ancestor with another cup of spiritual tea. Senior, please tell me if you have anything to say. An old friend of Wu Aoshan found me yesterday and asked me to come and tell you something. At this point, the Luo family ancestor picked up the teacup and took a sip. My old friend once owed a favor to a senior executive of the Wu Aidao, so he was entrusted by the other party to meet and talk with you, but he couldn't find you, so he came to me. Su Fan sneered secretly, and it was just as he expected. At this time, his face had become serious, and he looked like he was trying his best to control his emotions. This was about the other party's offer, and the more money he could make, the better. Seeing that Su Fan's face had changed, the Luo family ancestor couldn't help but smile bitterly. That's enough, kid. The Wu Aidao has been ruined by you. Now they have asked someone to find you for reconciliation, which is equivalent to kowtow and admit defeat. What else do you want? I didn't want anything, you fucking offer it. As long as the offer of the Wu Aidao is high enough, there is nothing that can't be discussed. When will the revenge end? There are not so many life and death feuds in this world. If there are, it's just that there are not enough chips. Senior, Wu Aidao set up a trap to kill me first, and they won't let me kill them back. How can this be justified in the world? After hearing Su Fan's words, the Luo family ancestor laughed. Tell me your conditions. Damn, I didn't expect that this old man would see through it. Okay, don't hide it anymore. The Luo family ancestor is an old fox who has lived for more than 10,000 years. Don't play any strange stories from a Chinese studio in front of him. Thinking of this, Su Fan thought for a while. Then we have to see if Wu Aidao is sincere. The Luo family ancestor laughed, then took out a ring from his arms and placed it in front of Su Fan. This is the sincerity of Wu Aidao? You take a look first. Su Fan didn't hesitate, and directly picked up the ring and scanned it with his spiritual sense. He suppressed his excitement, put the ring down, and then glanced at the Luo family ancestor opposite. The compensation given to him by Wu Aidao was 20,000 lingyu. Although it was already a considerable fortune. Who made them contact him last? Even a cultivation family like the Feng family could sell everything to get 10,000 lingyu. You Wu Aidao are doing a shameful business. You only took out 20,000 lingyu. Who are you looking down on? So Su Fan was ready to make another offer. Seeing that Su Fan didn't speak, the old man frowned. What conditions do you have? Just ask. Su Fan thought for a while and said, Senior, for your sake, 30,000 lingyu, plus the corpse of Linhei Xianzhen. Linhei Xianzhen was the one who planned the killing of Luoxia sect. He was a senior member of Wu Aidao. Because Su Fan accidentally killed his bloodline when he destroyed Fushan bandits. So he planned the killing and gathered more than 10 old demons in the refining void realm to encircle and kill Su Fan. At that time, although the top leaders of Wu Aoshan's Wu Aidao didn't want to provoke Su Fan, they were all hoping for the best. They thought that there was no reason why a dozen evil old demons in the refining void realm could not succeed in besieging and killing a cultivator in the transformation realm. Who would have thought that this well-planned perfect killing game not only failed to kill Su Fan, but more than a dozen evil old demons in the refining void realm were also killed by this kid. What the top leaders of Wu Aidao didn't expect was Su Fan's madness. In just 2 or 3 years, this big devil almost killed his way through the entire Burial Demon Mountain range, and Wu Aidao was killed by this kid. Now, the peripheral gangs under Wu Aidao, a large number of bandit cultivators and evil cultivators have disappeared. Now, even the 6 elite teams sent by the headquarters have been slaughtered by Su Fan, and those Kankiji cultivators who were originally arrogant have also run away in disgrace. If this continues for a few more days, Wu Aoshan's Wu Aidao will definitely fall apart. Therefore, several big brothers of the Wu Aidao who had not appeared for a long time in the fusion realm showed up for the first time, and several old guys unanimously decided that they could not let this guy go on killing. Chapter 947 That is the notorious demon. After listening to Su Fan's words, the Luo family ancestor nodded. This kid knows what's good for him, and didn't ask for too much right away. As for the conditions proposed by this kid, they are really nothing. He is Su Fan, who is now a notorious figure in the entire Jiaoxia world. Is it too much for him to ask Wu Aidao for 30,000 spiritual jades? As for that Linhei Xianzhen, why don't you provoke anyone else? Why do you choose to provoke this little devil? He deserves to die. Not only the Luo family ancestor thinks so, I'm afraid that the people of Wu Aidao are eager for him to die. Wu Yidao is such a big business, but it has not dared to open for more than 2 years because of Su Fan's killing. Thinking of this, the Luo family ancestor closed his eyes and began to contact the old friend Wu Yaoshan with his mind, and told him Su Fan's conditions. After a while, the Luo family ancestor opened his eyes and looked at Su Fan with a smile. Your conditions, Wu Yidao agreed. After listening to the words of the Luo family ancestor, Su Fan nodded. By the way, I have another condition. The Luo family patriarch looked at him with dissatisfaction and said, can't you say it all at once? I want the senior to guarantee me for this matter. Hearing Su Fan say this, the Luo family patriarch's face also eased. Don't worry, my old friend and I will jointly guarantee you for this matter, and we will negotiate with the old guys of the black clothes Dao. After the Luo family patriarch finished speaking, his eyes swept over him. If you have anything else, you'd better tell me. I don't have the time to bother with these trivial matters for you. After hearing the words of the Luo family patriarch, Su Fan secretly curled his lips. You are talking nicely, but you can't come all the way to see me if there is no benefit. Although he kept complaining in his heart, he really didn't dare to say it to his face, thinking that the big brother of the fusion realm had no temper. No, I'm sorry for the trouble. The Luo family patriarch had an expression of you are really fine when he heard it, and then his figure disappeared from the air, as if he had never appeared. Seeing the old guy leave, Su Fan let out a long sigh. Finally, all the grudges were settled. In fact, he was also tired. In these years, he had to open one eye even when sleeping, and he hardly had a few days of peace. This is not bad. It not only resolved the grudges, but also gained a lot of benefits. In the future, he can finally have a few days of peace. No, there are still the Celestials. These narcissistic guys will definitely not let go of their hatred. Thinking of this, Su Fan's eyes revealed a hint of gloomy emotions. Damn, since the Celestials want to play, then I will fight you to the end and see who can outlast whom. No, the Celestials have sent people to hunt him down several times in a row. And Su Fan has always been responding passively, mainly because of the bounty bonus of the Frigate River Palace, which made him have no energy to take the initiative. You are allowed to do the first day, so you must let me do the 15th. Anyway, now he has resolved the grudges with the Frigate River Palace, Wu Yidao and the Feng family one after another, and he will have plenty of time in the future. After so many years of hard work, Su Fan wanted to find a place to rest comfortably and refine his blood and ki for the 5th time. After completing the 5th round of refining, I will go to the Kyanshan Star region, the home of the Celestial clan. If I don't destroy the Kyanshan Star region, I'm not Su Fan. However, I can't let the guys of the Celestial clan sit idle. Thinking of this, Su Fan took off the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist and sent a message to Qin Yu. Qin Yu, you should immediately use all channels to spread the news that I have resolved the grievances with the Wangchuan Palace, the Wu Yidao and the Feng family. Dao Rao, you are. I know, I will help you with it right away. Maybe Su Fan has always been very low-key, so he publicized this matter so loudly that Qin Yu didn't react for a while. By the way, find someone to help me spread the news, saying that Su Fan only has one enemy left, the Celestial race, and that he will go to the Kyanshan Star region and launch a crazy revenge on the Celestial race. Don't worry, fellow Taoist, I will spread this news throughout the entire Jiaoxu realm within 3 days. Even Qin Yu had to admire Su Fan. This guy was too vicious. If the Celestial race knew that Su Fan had resolved his grievances with the Wangchuan Palace, Wu Yidao and the Feng family, and then received the information that Su Fan was going to the Kyanshan Star region, then from today on, all the cultivators of the Celestial race would probably not be able to sleep well. The entire Kyanshan Star region would also be in a state of panic, with enemies everywhere. Although Qin Yu had already guessed that once this news was announced, it would definitely cause heated discussions in the Jiaoxu realm. But he still underestimated Su Fan's influence. When the news that Su Fan had resolved his grievances with the Wangchuan Palace, Wu Yidao and the Feng family spread, the entire Jiaoxu realm exploded. Especially after the news that Su Fan was going to the Kyanshan Star region to launch a crazy revenge on the Xianren clan monks came out, almost everyone was shocked and stunned. But then came the excitement. They all held a gloating mentality, waiting for Su Fan to appear in the Kyanshan Star region. The people of the Xianren clan are not very popular in the Jiaoxu realm. Because in the eyes of the Xianren clan, the human race, the demon race, The monster race and the insect race are all inferior races, and only they are the chosen ones of God. This group of narcissistic guys, not only the human race hates them, but also the demon race, the monster race and the insect race don't like them very much. So now all the monks in the entire Jiaxu realm, regardless of race, have taken small stools and are waiting to sit down and eat melons. Who is Su Fan? He is a notorious big devil. And this guy is cruel and violent, killing people without blinking an eye. It is said that there are millions of people who died in his hands. You say this big devil, how murderous he must be. The most terrifying thing about Su Fan is that this guy is vindictive. Anyone who has offended him will end up in a bad situation. The Wangchuan Palace is the oldest killing organization in the Jiaxu realm. There are hundreds of elite killers and gold medal bounty killers who died in its hands. The elite killers and gold and silver medal bounty hunters in the killer organization are not cabbages. One less is one less. It forced the Wangchuan Palace to withdraw the bounty bonus that had not been seen for many years, and took the initiative to resolve the grievances with Su Fan. Although it is unknown how the Wangchuan Palace resolved the grievances with Su Fan, everyone knows that if the big devil does not come up with a bargaining chip that satisfies him, how can he agree with his temper? The Wuidao is even more difficult to deal with. It is the most mysterious underground organization in the Jiaxu realm. It is said that there are branches in hundreds of worlds outside the domain, and they also do shameful robbery and selling of stolen goods. Not to mention ordinary cultivators, even those super large sects and high-level cultivation families are unwilling to provoke the Wuidao. But after Wu Aoshin's Wuidao organization provoked Su Fan almost killed his way through the buried monster mountains with just one sword. He killed so many people in the Wuidao by himself that the members of the organization hid like rats in the sewer, not even daring to show their heads. Although the top leaders of Wu Aoshin's Wuidao sent out requests for help to fellow disciples in various planes of Jiaxu realm, no plane dared to send people to support. The fierce power of Su Fan, the big devil, can be seen. Who would have thought that the Wuidao that used to be arrogant and domineering in Jiaxu realm was frightened and trembled by Su Fan alone? They could only watch Su Fan frantically killing members of the Wuidao in the buried monster mountains. The top leaders of Wu Aoshin's Wuidao had no choice but to ask for help from the headquarters. Although nearly 100 old monsters from the Kankyu realm of the Wuidao headquarters sent by the Law Enforcement Hall came to Wu Aoshin in Jiaxu realm across the domain. As a result, more than half of them were killed by Su Fan, and the rest fled in disgrace without even thinking about it. Throughout the entire Jiaxu realm for tens of thousands of years, no one has been as fierce as Su Fan. Although he is only a cultivator in the transformation realm, if you look at his battle record, there are already double-digit numbers of half-step fusion realm monsters who died at his hands. If such a monster is eyeing them, the future of the celestial race will be difficult. The celestial race originally had few members, and all of them gathered in the Kaianshan star region. Once this big devil kills over, the consequences can be imagined. Chapter 948, A thief can steal for 1,000 days, but he cannot guard against thieves for 1,000 days. There was a lot of noise outside, but Su Fan was like nothing happened. A few days ago, he found a small market with beautiful scenery and rested comfortably. During this period, in order to make the Wuidao admit defeat as soon as possible, he almost ran around in the burial demon mountains without stopping, killing many people. Killing people is also very tiring, and coupled with the tossing around, his body and mind are a little exhausted. As for going to the Kaianshan star region to cause trouble for the Celestials, that is a matter for the future, and he will do it when he is tired of staying here one day. Since he asked the Ruai Pavilion to release the news, it is estimated that the entire Kaianshan star region should be in chaos now, and the cultivators of the Celestials must be in a panic. Anyway, it is the Celestials who are nervous. What does it have to do with him? The Celestials have set up traps against him again and again. If the tiger does not show its power, you really think I am Hello Kitty? In the early morning, the sun rises. The thick fog covering the mountains gradually dissipated, leaving the morning dew to moisten the green flowers, plants and trees on the mountain. There was a cool breeze from time to time, bringing the fragrance of mountain grass and soil. Su Fan lay on a recliner by the pond next to the thatched cottage, staring at the water bubbling out of the spring in a daze. There was a kettle on the small red clay stove next to him, and Sister Xin leaned against him, peeling a spiritual fruit for him from time to time and putting it in his mouth. Seeing that the kettle was boiling, The sister quickly propped herself up, brewed a pot of spiritual tea for him, and poured a cup in front of him. Su Fan took a sip from the teacup, closed his eyes and savored the tea fragrance like ecstasy. At this time, a slightly cool little face came up. Su Fan gently hugged Sister Zhen, and then the sister offered her sweet tongue. Sister Zhen practiced the ghost way, and now her ghost body has long been condensed into substance, and there is a special flavor when water and fire blend. Especially those two tempting little mouths, revealing a hint of coolness. Every time they blend, Su Fan can't stop. After spending so much time with Sister Zhen, the irritability in Su Fan's body was almost completely eliminated. Moreover, the girl's temperament was very well behaved. No matter how embarrassing the master's orders were, she would always obey. At this time, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on Su Fan's waist vibrated slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and took a look at the message sent by Qin Yu. Devours, I have spread the news throughout the Jiaoxu realm according to your instructions. It must be said that since Su Fan became the gold medal customer of Ruai Pavilion, Qin Yu's execution ability has been much stronger than before. Well, how is the effect? At present, the effect is very good. The entire Kaianshan Star region has been in chaos. It is said that the Xianren clan in various planes have sent the young children in the clan to other worlds outside the domain. Fuck. The Xianren clan is really scared and has already arranged a way out for the young children in the clan. Not that bad. No matter how cruel I am, I will not kill those children. Besides, killing is only the worst option. Making your opponent live in fear is the most brilliant method. What are the recent movements of the Celestial Clan's top brass? According to the latest intelligence, the entire Kaianshan Star region has entered a high level of alert, and altars are being built on a large scale in all planes. Seeing this message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan was amused. The Celestial Clan is now in such a posture of facing a formidable enemy. I wonder how long they can hold on. If they are on high alert every day, it will probably not take long before someone collapses and can't hold on. After all, in this world, there is only 1,000 days of thieves, but no 1,000 days of guarding against thieves. And Su Fan is hiding in the dark now. Who knows when he will show up? Let them toss around. Wait until he gets bored of staying here one day. Anyway, I have the final say when to take action now. Well, I know. Devours, when are you going to go to Kaianshan Star region? How would I know? Anyway, I can't go now. This is the time when the Celestial Clan is on the most strict alert. Only when the tension is relaxed will he consider making a move. Not necessarily. Let's see the situation first. Qin Yu couldn't help complaining when he saw Su Fan's message. Now, all the cultivators in the Jiaoxu world are sitting on small benches waiting to eat melons, but this gentleman didn't react at all. Su Fan chatted with Qin Yu for a few more words, and then put away the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion. But as soon as he lay on the recliner, the jade talisman on his waist began to vibrate slightly again. Who the hell is this? Can't I just stay quiet for a while? Su Fan took another jade talisman from his waist and found that it was a message from Zhu Ming of Huangquan Tower. Zigu, the compensation from Wangchuan Palace has been delivered. See where I put it for you to pick up. I'll put it with you first, and I'll talk about it when I have time. Now he finally has the opportunity to rest comfortably for a few days, so how can he have time to toss around? Zigu, are you going to make a move? Why is this guy so gossipy? When I will make a move is none of your business. Well, why are you asking this, brother? It's not me who's asking. The top leaders of the organization are waiting every day. Now the cultivators of the entire Jiaoxu world are probably paying attention to this matter. These guys are so idle. What do you care about my own affairs? If you are willing to wait, then wait. Wait until he has rested enough, and then complete the 5th round of tempering of his own blood and ki, and then see what happens. By that time, it is estimated that the Celestial Clan cultivators in all planes of the Kaianshan Star region will be driven crazy by him. I am preparing now. As for when to make a move, it's to be determined, haha. Then I'll wait for you to go to the Kaianshan Star region to kill a lot of people, then you have to wait. He won't move for 3 to 5 years. Anyway, he has the jade talisman of the Luo family ancestor that isolates the secrets of heaven. As long as he stays in this small market and doesn't move, no one can predict his ki. However, the ancestor of the Luo family is a flaw of his. Who knows if the old guy will sell him out? But he immediately shook his head. After all, he is a big boss in the fusion realm. so he should not be so mean. Moreover, the celestial race has always been very arrogant. Even the big bosses in the fusion realm in the race have very ordinary relations with the high-level officials of various races. It is estimated that the ancestor of the Luo family will at most help them to make peace with him. But with the narcissistic nature of the Celestials, the chance of reconciliation is not great. It seems that they are going to fight with him. After breakfast, Su Fan left the portable secret realm and strolled down the street of Fangxi. He found a tea house on the street, and then went in and asked for a private tea house. He drank tea while listening to the monks chatting in the tea house. Chapter 949 I won't play with you anymore. Old Guan, when do you think that Big Devil will come to the Qianshan Star region? It's been so many days, how the hell do I know? This guy is always elusive. It's bad luck for the celestial race to provoke him. Now everyone is waiting to see the big show. They want to see how the arrogant celestial race will end this time. Haha, I don't have any other thoughts. As long as this Big Devil leaves our Demon Mountains, I will be worried as long as he is here. I heard that the Qianshan Star region has launched a general mobilization. All the star regions are on high alert, as if facing a great enemy. But if that Big Devil doesn't take action, will the celestial race keep waiting for him? How can the celestial race live in the future? Su Fan laughed while listening to the cultivators chat. It was just like Zhu Ming said. Now the cultivators of the entire Jiaoxu realm were waiting for him to attack the Qianshan Star region. These guys are not afraid of big troubles, and they can't wait to fight with the Celestials. You all just wait until the end of time. I won't play with you anymore. Only when the Celestials' tightly stretched string loosens, will Su Fan consider whether to take action. The Celestials can't hold on for a few years, people always relax. Su Fan listened for a while, then got up to pay the bill and left the tea house, returned to the guest room and entered the portable secret realm. In the following days, Su Fan hardly left the house, and stayed comfortably in the portable secret realm every day. Except for spending some time to temper the blood and ki in his body every day. The rest of the time he was lying on the recliner by the pond next to the thatched cottage. Even his meals were brought here by Sister Zhen every day, which could be said to be food and clothes. Su Fan lived a corrupt life in this small market, which made countless celestial cultivators in the Qianshan Star region suffer. According to the temperament of Su Fan, the Big Devil, revenge never waited overnight. Moreover, he had already announced that he would enter the Qianshan Star region and bloodbath the entire territory of the celestial race. This also worried the high level of the celestial race, who could only mobilize the entire Qianshan Star region and strictly guard against it in all planes. It is true that the celestial race is narcissistic, but they are not stupid. They have already collected countless intelligence about who Su Fan is. From the time when he fought this Big Devil in Shaoyuan Market until he was in Wuyaoshan, his birth experience had long been dug up by the celestial race. All the celestial race cultivators took a breath of cold air when they saw Su Fan's resume. How many people did this guy kill? Su Fan dared to challenge the Yuanying family in the key refining stage, and killed thousands of Zhou family cultivators, and even killed dozens of Foundation establishment cultivators across levels. That's not all, this Big Devil also devoured the flesh and blood of tens of thousands of mortals in the Zhou family. Later, in the Plain War, Su Fan sacrificed the corpses of millions of Sulan and Yaoga people with blood, and simply killed people everywhere. Even the most brutal evil old demon in the entire Jiaoxia world is a saint compared to him. The celestial race suffered even more at his hands. Since the Battle of Falling Stars Heaven Ruins, countless elite members of the tribe have been defeated by him. Although the clan leaders organized several operations to surround and kill this big demon, they all escaped the pursuit, and each time, the celestial race monks were killed. Although this big demon is only a cultivator in the God Transformation realm, the number of half-step fusion realm masters who died in his hands is already in the double digits. The most terrifying thing is that this guy also has a demon seed. Many fusion realm masters of the celestial race are helpless against him. Although the celestial race monks communicate frequently with the upper realm, even those upper realm masters of the clan dare not stand up for their clan members in the lower realm. The old monsters in the upper realm of the demon sect are the most moody, and they are all a bunch of mental patients. For the sake of the entire race, the fusion realm masters of the celestial race dare not rashly attack Su Fan. Fortunately, the entire celestial race was very united. After receiving the mobilization order, almost all members, young and old, went to the battlefield and were ready to fight in all planes. Moreover, The celestial race's top leaders had already prepared for the worst, and sent all the young children in the race to the territory of the same race outside the domain. There was no way. This big devil was too cruel. When he was just a minor cultivator in the key refining stage, he slaughtered tens of thousands of mortals in the Joe family. Later, in the Giant realm, he sacrificed millions of Sulan people and ghost cultivators. After breaking through the Yuan realm, he even ruined the ghost territory. This big devil didn't care about that. As long as he fell into his hands, no matter whether he was a man or a woman, old or young, he would kill everyone. Moreover, this guy is now hiding again, like a poisonous snake hiding in the bushes, ready to bite anyone. No one knows when this big devil will show up. However, the Kyanshan star region is too large, and there are not many celestial race cultivators. It is harder than ascending to heaven to defend each star region from infiltration. Although there are many people from all races in the Kyanshan star region, most of them are slaves of the celestial race. Many towns can only be guarded by a small number of monks from their own race. However, the managers of each town are all slave monks from all races. It is not a big deal if things are peaceful at ordinary times, but it is hard to say at this time. Because the celestial race monks have been very cruel to the monks in the Kyanshan star region, countless monks from all races have been secretly accumulating strength to prepare for rebellion. This time, Su Fan spread the news throughout the Jiaoxu realm that he would kill the Kyanshan star region and take crazy revenge on the celestial race. After receiving this news, the slaves of all races in the Jiaoxu realm were jubilant. They were just waiting for Su Fan's arrival, and some of them were impatient and had already started to wreak havoc everywhere in the Kyanshan star region. The monks of all races in the Kyanshan star region have long been extremely miserable by the celestial race. If they were not afraid of the cruel suppression of the celestial race, the monks from all over the world would have rebelled long ago. Faced with a tense situation in the Kyanshan star region, the celestials could only send their elites to put out the fires. Now Su Fan has not appeared yet, and the Kyanshan star region is already in chaos. Faced with such a dilemma, many high-level members of the Celestials have held meetings and discussed the situation countless times, but they have not come up with any good solutions. At the beginning, some people suggested that they ask someone to pass a message to Su Fan like the Wangchuan Palace and Wu Aidao did, trying to resolve the grievances with this big devil. But as soon as this suggestion was made, it was rejected by most people. The Celestials are indeed too narcissistic. In their eyes, except for their own race, all other cultivators belong to lowly races. Therefore, the suggestion of reconciliation with Su Fan can only be spurned and abused by his own race, and it is impossible to be passed. Chapter 950, Nothing Serious Anyway. At dusk, the sun slowly sank towards the other side of the mountain, and the golden light spread across the mountains and forests, as if the earth was coated with a layer of gold paint. Su Fan sat cross-legged by the pond next to the thatched cottage and slowly opened his eyes. After about 3 years of unremitting efforts, he finally completed the 5th tempering of the blood and ki in his body. However, Su Fan was a little disappointed that the effect of the 5th round of blood and ki tempering was not comparable to the 4th round. Now his physical body and blood have more than doubled, and his spiritual consciousness has only increased by 30%. There is no way. After the 4th round of blood tempering was completed, the reason why Su Fan's data in all aspects increased so much was actually because he swallowed the blood of the dead wood ancestor in the fusion realm when he broke through. This kind of opportunity is hard to come by, and the corpse of the fusion realm boss is not easy to get. Su Fan took a deep breath, and then took out the Jade talismans of Ruai Pavilion and Huangquan Tower from the ring. In the past few years, he didn't want to be disturbed, so he threw the communication array and Jade talisman into the ring, aiming to keep it out of sight and out of mind. Su Fan first picked up the communication array. There were hundreds of messages on it, all from Luo Ziwen. Su Fan had just replied to a message when the girl's message came like a mountain torrent. He was too lazy to read it. Anyway, there was nothing serious. After perfunctorily communicating with the girl for a while, he picked up the Jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion. Kin Yu also sent more than 100 messages, mostly various information related to Kyanshan Star region and the celestial race. Su Fan thought for a while, and then sent a message to Kin Yu. Is there any information about Kyanshan Star region recently? Kin Yu's message was still replied in seconds. It might be because Su Fan disappeared for too long, and there was a sense of urgency between the lines. Dao, you finally replied. I thought something happened to you. You are the one who is in trouble. Your whole family is in trouble. I have been in seclusion for a while, and I just came out today. Then I am relieved. Kyanshan Star region has not relaxed its vigilance in the past few years. However, the celestial race can't hold out for much longer. Su Fan frowned after reading Qin Yu's message. Can't hold out for much longer. What do you mean? Because of the long-term cruel oppression of the celestial race, the cultivators of various races in Kyanshan Star region have long been unable to bear it, until you released the news, which also made all the star regions in Kyanshan Star region completely chaotic. After reading this message, Su Fan was stunned. It is true that where there is oppression, there is resistance. What is the current situation in Kyanshan Star region? Kyanshan Star region is now in chaos, which is also related to the secret support of some surrounding star regions. After all, Kyanshan Star region is very rich in resources, so those star regions have long coveted Kyanshan Star region. Su Fan knew in his heart that the real reason for the chaos in Kyanshan Star region had nothing to do with him. It is estimated that the infiltration of some surrounding star regions has not been 1 or 2 days. The news that he released to retaliate against the celestial race is actually just a catalyst. Even without him, chaos in Kyanshan Star region is a matter of time. Now that Kyanshan Star region is facing internal and external troubles, the time for him to take action is ripe. Does your Ruai Pavilion have information on the various planes of Kyanshan Star region? I want the latest news. I have collected a lot of information about Kyanshan Star region in the past few years. I will send it to you later. Well, thank you for your hard work. By the way, fellow Taoist, don't you want to go to the Guchen realm? As our gold medal customer, your next free benefit will be in 8 years. I have already signed up for you. Seeing Qin Yu's message, Su Fan suddenly became excited. Thank you for worrying about my affairs. You're welcome, fellow Taoist. This is what I should do. It's just that after you go to the Guchen realm, you can no longer enjoy the gold medal customer benefits you have in the Jiaosu realm. What the hell? Does the organizational rules of Ruai Pavilion differ in each world? Can you tell me in detail? The Guchen realm you are going to belongs to the upper middle class world. The clients of the Ruai Pavilion organization and our Jiaosu realm can only be iron metal customers there. This is fucking. It turns out that there is regional discrimination in this world. Well, he doesn't want to bother with it anymore after going there. There is no difference between gold medal and iron medal for him. By then, he will turn a deaf ear to the outside world and live a quiet life with his family every day. No problem. Is there any news about my family in the Guchen realm? Fellow Taoist, we have little contact with the Guchen realm, but what is certain is that your family has been arranged there. It seems that the Jiaosu realm can't communicate with them at all. It's useless to ask, because they don't care about people from the Jiaosu realm. Well, let's talk about it after I go there. By the way, fellow Taoist, how do you think of my service? Seeing Qin Yu's message, Su Fan didn't understand for a while. Very good, I am very satisfied. Devours, can you allow me to go to the Guchenji with you? Anyway, when you get there, there will be no familiar people to serve you in the Ruai Pavilion. Su Fan understood it now. It seems that Qin Yu also wants to leave Jiaoxuji. This is normal. People go to high places and water flows to low places. Qin Yu would rather give up everything he has done in Jiaoxuji and go to the Guchenji to start over. Isn't it just to make himself reach a higher level? You want to go to the Guchenji? I can't help you. Devours, you are a Ruai Pavilion's gold medal customer in Jiaoxuji. You can designate me to follow you to the Guchenji. Then I have no problem. I also hope you will continue to serve me. Thank you, Devours. Don't worry, no matter where I go, I will definitely provide you with the best service. Okay, when he arrives at the Guchenji, there won't be so many troubles like in Jiaoxuji. Qin Yu is a good guy, so I will help him if I can. Anyway, it's all easy. Su Fan chatted with Qin Yu for a few more words, and then put the Jade Talisman away. He took out the Jade Talisman of Huangquan Tower, which also contained hundreds of messages from Zhu Ming. Su Fan was too lazy to read it, and replied to a message casually, telling the other party that he had been in seclusion for the past few years and had now come out. Since resolving the grievances with Huangquan Palace, Huangquan Tower has been of no help to him. Su Fan will not quit Huangquan Tower and will be their mascot for a few years, and then leave Jiaoxu realm. In the next few days, Su Fan studied various intelligence on Kyanshan Star domain. He has decided to take action, taking advantage of the most chaotic time in Kyanshan Star Domain to add fuel to the fire of the Shinrin clan. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.